That's not good. There it goes.
Oh, okay.
Hey, and welcome to another
For a second there, I
fantastic.
thought something broke.
It just froze for a second there in the intro there. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another fantastic episode of the Sonic Talk podcast, our monthly stream where a few writers for Sonic Stadium just spend, talk about the month's news for a
They
little bit.
shoot the shoot.
We do
Talk
whatever.
about blue hedgehogs and their adventures.
And black hedgehogs.
I
And
mean,
silver hedgehogs.
Our
and pink
favorite
ones.
hedgehog.
Are we just
Shadow
going to
the
spend the
Hedgehog.
episode discussing the color that fictional hedgehogs can come in?
Well,
Sure,
let's
why
see. They
not?
come in blue, turquoise, pink,
So here's
red and black, and pink.
I think
Did I already say
we're
pink?
just we would be better off just creating a DeviantArt account at this point.
Oh, silver. Silver. There's also a silver one.
Uh,
did
I
mention
forget his
that.
name, though.
so yeah, we are
Correct.
live over on Twitch and on YouTube as well. Hi to both audiences, and we're however before we get into the news, we're going to introduce our host this week. I am GX as always, writer slash news person slash video person for Sonic Stadium. We also have I don't know. Would you get to call yourself senior news guy, Knuckles?
Yes, I am the senior news guy, and I am also now officially a video person because I have a proper video editing program which I use to do some video editing, and I'm very proud of myself.
I don't know, man. Like I have I have a copy of a free copy of God, I can't even remember what it's called. I'm very professional. DaVinci Resolve. Do you have a
Well,
copy of DaVinci Resolve? The answer is yes,
no,
because
I
it's
have
free.
a subscription to Apple Final Cut Pro.
Shigs, do you have a subscription to Apple Final Cut Pro?
No, but I am the senior just as a senior because I'm 53 years old. I'm
Yes,
the oldest
although when
guy
they
here,
say
of course.
senior about me, it's because I am effectively like, I don't know, the second in command now. So, yeah,
Well,
yeah.
admittedly,
senior.
between the two of you, I think Shigs still has the. Well, no, actually, I think I have the oldest games this time. But
I have a Magnavox Odyssey. Oh wait, you mean oldest as in what we've played?
oldest as in what
This-
we've
this
played.
month. Okay, I was gonna say
No,
I have
you-
a Magnavox Odyssey.
You've got the youngest games that are going on here, Knuckles. Why don't you kick us off with what we've been playing?
All right, so I have been playing a little of a lot for the past month or so. By which I mean, like, I dive into something, I play it for a bit, and then, like, I get distracted by something else, then I start doing that. It's been a long time since I've done something like this. So, my first love of the month was a game that Shigs has talked about on here before, Star Wars Hunters, which I've just been in a very Star Wars mood lately. You know, like I love love the shows, and I love the universe. I love the starships, and
Is that because of Outlaw coming out this Friday?
yes, Outlaw is a major reason. I will be getting that soon enough. But so yeah, Star Wars Hunters. This is like I don't play these kinds of like free to play hero shooter Fortnite things, whatever the heck this is, very often. But this one, like, I'm having a decent amount of fun with it. I don't suck at it, which is nice. The character that they start you with is basically exactly the kind of character that I love to play. She is fast. She has a decently accurate shot. She has a good fire rate, and she has this cool move where she can grapple hook around the stage for quick escapes. And so, like, I haven't really gotten into the economy or anything, so I can only really talk about the gameplay. But the gameplay is just these very basic things, like, just kill a certain number of people, or hold the number of a number of locations in the stage. And these are the kind of game types that I do enjoy, and they are very simple, they are very fast, they are very fun. And so, like, it's just Star Wars Outlaws is just a very fun, quick pick up and play title. And I think if you just want a fun little multiplayer experience that you don't need to invest anything into, and you got a Switch, like this, it is a great choice because it's fun, it's snappy, it's the characters are colorful, and
Yeah, and you're not stuck with just one character. I mean,
yeah,
there's a dozen outside of the battle passes that she can unlock over a period of time, and the XP's fairly decently quick. I mean, I got
yeah.
all 12 within about a month when I first started playing it.
Um, but yeah, like I played the game for about a week, and I was just I think I ended up unlocking like 4 or 5 characters. Like I said, my favorite one is currently just like the one they start you with. The Wookiee is like he's kind of unique in that he's like he's slow, but he's also tough, and he just can just smash things. So like oddly enough, like
He does a huge amount of damage, and he also has a healing ability on top of it.
yeah,
So
and when my preferred character, whose name I forget, has to deal with that, it has a pain in the butt because like she's decently accurate and deals a decent amount of damage, but like that can quickly be overcome with the Wookiee gets healing himself. And then there's also like the stormtrooper with a chain gun, and
always my
that's
favorite.
fun. There's a support character who I didn't really care for. I never. She
Yeah,
fires slow. She mostly
there's
heals.
there are better support characters in the one. The Nemoidian who can run real fast and
Ooh.
heal you and damage the enemy at the same time. She's the
A-
best as far as the
And
healers.
and the last one I unlocked was like this blind sniper who is probably my second favorite. Um, because he's just kind of he's like the character I like, except he's shoots slower and he has a much better range. Um, but until I get deeper into the game, I'm probably sticking with the opening character for a while. But yeah, this is definitely something you can see coming back to, and eventually I'm probably gonna drop $5 or $10 on it just because I'm having fun and unlock a character or two. um,
Can
so
you
after that,
play as Max
what,
Rebo?
no,
That's unfortunate.
Max Rebo is the man Erodian, right? The guy with the little mouth.
He's the blue guy
Oh
that
wait, no,
plays the
Max
fake
Rebo's
piano.
the elephant. No, there is no big blue elephant guy.
That's unfortunate. You should be able to play as the band members
But
as a
fun
unit.
fact, a
There is
child,
a baby child Max Rebo coming out in the upcoming
yeah,
Star Wars show Skeleton Crew.
in Star Wars Skeleton Crew, yeah, yeah. Um, Now then, I did eventually move on to playing stuff on my Steam Deck, specifically Star Wars Squadrons. I've gone back to. I've talked about this before, so I'm not going to get too into it. But I have been playing the multiplayer and the fleet battle a lot lately, and this game still remains just like one of my favorite Star Wars games to come out in the last 15 years at least. Like, I've always been a big fan of the space sims, and this game, like, it's kind of that perfect mix of being fairly accessible and not too complex like a lot of the older Star Wars space sims, while still having a decent amount of depth through how you manage the energy to your shields, lasers, and engine, and like combine that with the fact that you can like customize your layout, something never really customize your loadout, something I never really bother with while playing the campaign, and like it is a massive shame that this game didn't sell better because it is probably like the best game EA made. Like I'm including at least Jedi Order in that. The thing with the Jedi guy. forget it. Calcastus.
If you say so, I just mainly played for the campaign. And I thought that was too short, and I just found it okay.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
You,
mean,
you
I
should
hear that was what really sells it is the VR.
I did do VR on it back in the day. I haven't done it recently, but I did recently. I did recently get a new cable for a new cable for some PC VR. So hopefully
Hey, I got
I
a
will be trying
question
that out
about
again
that.
soon.
Can a Quest be connected to a Steam Deck for VR, or is that pretty much impossible?
I've thought about looking that up. I would think probably not.
Yeah.
Um, but that is something I've been wanting to look into just to see if it's possible. Okay, so moving on.
Yeah, I want to
Also,
highlight the fact that the Steam Deck was designed to output at 720.
yeah.
If you're going to then decide that, oh, well, I need it to output minimum two 1080 or higher streams, I don't think you're going to get that out of it.
Yeah, that was my expectation. But regardless, like I don't know, maybe Star Wars Squadrons leaves it with enough overhead because it runs extremely well on the Steam Deck.
Yeah, because it's outputting at 720. Of course it is.
But anyway, so I've also been playing a lot of Sonic Forces Mobile this month. Um, mostly because mostly to like get some recording done for the Sonic Stadium YouTube, but also because the characters have just been something that really interests me, especially Extreme Gear Sonic. Extreme Gear Sonic is really cool, and I knew that there wouldn't be room to talk about him in the main shows. I want to talk about him now because he is much more interesting than the other Sonic Riders characters, and
Okay,
that
but
they
we
do
need to
use.
contextualize how you are discussing it. He's so interesting that he disconnected. Great.
Oh,
Bye,
oh,
Alex.
that's
Uh,
wonderful. That's just great.
while we wait for Max Rebo's backup soloist, Shigs, why don't you tell me about Doom?
Okay, in case you haven't known, for the ID Software has released Doom for the 5 millionth time again. You get Doom 1, Doom 2 in a one package. Only now you get pretty much every expansion, every option they've ever put out, and mods even on console, which presents some copyright issues. They don't seem to care that they're breaking on this. I mean, you could play Super Mario Doom, Sonic Doom, Simpsons Doom, Star Wars Doom,
Well,
whichever
not
floats your
merely
boat.
that, but it also seems like they didn't necessarily ask people to put in these wads. Does that sound
They
accurate?
they just took whatever's mods, or I guess were off the Steam page or however they got them, and just laid them on there. I mean, I guess on PC those mods are just out there, but on console you just you just laid them all out, and uh, nobody's really getting any credit for it or anything. Or
Well,
if, well, it's
well,
not that they're getting credit.
it looks like based on what I
It mentions who they published,
yeah,
but they put them out without their permission,
but
basically.
basically it looks like what I'm seeing, or at least what I've heard, is basically that they just create this online repository to that people could upload for, and then you just browse that repository and
Yeah,
number one, is it being
it's like if
actively
you're playing.
monitored? And number two, is it being like there's nothing to seemingly stop someone from uploading someone else's existing work is the issue.
Right. It seems like that's the
But other than that,
the
it
main
looks
thing.
fun.
It's Yeah, it's basically like the WWE games where you can download other people's created characters and they're all copyright issued and everything. But other than that, the controls are very solid. They have a ton of options. I guess if you're doing Steam Deck and that, you can even do what's the name of that particular type of light sourcing they do now for next gen?
Ray tracing?
Ray tracing, yeah. There's a ray tracing option for Doom on those on the not Steam Deck, but on PC and such.
Ah,
More
hello, can you
powerful
hear me?
hardware.
Yes,
Yep, we can hear
you are
you.
indeed
Hello?
back.
I was just talking a little bit about Doom
There
1
we
and
go.
2
Okay.
and the different mods and such.
Hello.
So what hi, you're here. So what kinds of give me an impression, like what's your go-to for this? Are you playing vanilla Doom through first? Are you playing like Doom 2? Have you jumped into any of the mods or anything?
The first thing I actually did was the mods just to try them out.
What's
And some
good?
of them are a little weak. Like the Super Mario one is just the regular Doom with the skin of Mario and sound effects over it. The Sonic
So what?
one
So what? Do
is
you shoot Goombas?
yeah, stuff like that. The Sonic one, you go in and you have your own little like toy guns and stuff, and you're shooting like Scratch and Grounder and Coconuts and, and other characters through like a through an ice area. And the one I liked so far was the Star Wars one because it reminded me of Dark Forces. They got all the stormtroopers there, a lot of the sound effects and music, and the different kinds of Star Wars related weapons. But outside of that, the of course the graphics are about as good as they can get for Doom for that particular era.
I mean, I still think
They
Doom
sharpen it up,
visually
and they
holds up for what it is.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
and they have a
Doom looks nice
ton
for
of
a retro
options
game.
out here, especially for accessibility. You got a whole mess of different options here. High contrast text, any typeface. They could read chat out loud, transcribe voice chat, all this other stuff. So there's a
Have,
different type, a whole bunch of other options on here.
have I pushed you into going more in depth on Doom than you were ready to do?
Kind of, yeah.
Then tell me
Also,
about Pizza Tower.
Pizza Tower. Okay, Pizza Tower is basically kind of a mix of. I think you've played this one before too, huh?
I've talked about it on this show twice on two separate
Yes.
occasions.
You
Yeah,
don't
because
care
this
for
has
it.
been pretty much a PC game for the longest time. This is the
I I
sorry, first I know of it being released for console, but I
I
might be wrong.
believe that, and don't quote me, but this is what I have heard, is that basically the developers did not want to do anything with console, especially Switch.
Then how
So
did
did
it
they
end
like
up
get a
coming
port
out, I
house to
wonder?
do it or what?
My guess, yeah, there's usually a lot of port houses that exist that to just like put things on Switch. It would not surprise me if it was farmed out, but I don't personally know offhand.
GX, why is Max Rebo behind me?
Why not? Well, I mean, he took your place while you were gone.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I mean, basically, if you played Wario Land, it's got that kind of vibe where you're charging and bashing through walls, but you're doing this at a higher rate of speed. There's also a lot of wall running, and going through obstacles and through enemies, and it's all right. It's not the best, but it's not the worst either.
I
It
hear
is a little. When you play through the tutorial, you realize there's way more controls than this type of game really needs, in my opinion.
I feel like you're running into the same issue that I was running into, where obviously there's probably a high level of proficiency that you could get to, but if you're not operating at that high level of proficiency, then it's not quite as fun as it looks like it might be.
Right, exactly. Yeah, it's you have to have more precise control, and if you're not that kind of person, you're gonna not have as good a time with it because the enemies are and the obstacles are relying on you to have a more precise management of the way the controls are. Like I'm just playing with it right now, and I'm constantly smashing against the wall and such.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I do like the old the kind of the hand drawn graphics too. It reminds me of like the old Sega, and the music kind of reminds me of the old Sega days and such.
Oh, the aesthetic of it is great. I will
Yeah,
I have no
and that's
complaints
what
about how
attracted
it
me to it.
looks.
When I saw all the art and animation, I really enjoyed that part of it. But when you get down to the gameplay, it's like this could have been made a lot more simpler,
Hmm.
and it would have worked, I think, better.
It kind
Uh,
of it's kind of, I don't want to be overly accusatory, but I find this happens a lot in sort of fan games and fan homages where the game itself is not really designed for, a mass market. It's more designed for the people that have played the other games of this style over and over again, and they're making a game for people who have also played that thing over and over again, or want to play it
So,
over and
so,
speaking
so
over
of
like a
again.
lot of Metroidvanias then.
Speaking of that, that's just a quick shout out. I did download Spark the Electric Jester 3 onto the Switch as well.
Oh, neat.
And that's actually works a little smoother than the than on my Steam Deck version.
Huh.
But I kind of feel like that's kind of a fan game, even though it's its own separate thing. And I'm happy for the creator that he's finally got one out on the consoles and not just on the Steam and what have you. Um, and the controls could be pretty good on that, and then there's other times where you're just completely lost in the. But that's actually quite a bit more solid than the Pizza Tower was, in my opinion. Um, and also, really quick, just wanted to mention the shout out for the new Fortnite season. That, in case you haven't noticed, they're working very closely with Disney now. This season is all Marvel superhero stuff. Um, they got Gwenpool, Shuri as Black Panther, Emma Frost.
Oh,
Who else? War Machine, and War Machine is
Gwenpool's the one I kept hearing
Iron.
about.
Gwenpool. People keep thinking that's Gwen Stacy, but Gwenpool
Yeah.
is Gwendolyn Poole, who's a girl from our world. It was a big Marvel fan that got sucked into Marvel Universe 616 and knows
Yeah.
that she's a
I
comic
read a
book
bit of her
character.
book.
Yeah, cause
Um,
she could see herself on the other panel and weird stuff like that.
I
And
wonder how long until we get until Disney buys Epic.
I don't know,
I
but
don't I don't
the
I
main
think
villain
Disney
that you
wants
can
to start
unlock.
making some more money again before they're ready to buy another company like that. They've dabbled in and out of games so often that I suspect that they probably would not want to, because that
They
would be a
buy
much
Epic,
bigger
it
risk.
doesn't immediately
I
make them
think
$1
they're
billion,
doing well on this
and then they sell, and
partnership
then they
because they
close
don't
it.
have to.
Yeah, I mean that's
They're doing well on this partnership because they don't have to put out any extra effort. They're just licensing out the characters and
that's
making the money through them.
that's why they previously closed their other studios, basically under the logic of, well, it's hard to make games. We actually have to know what we're doing to do that.
Well,
But
you see, what
what if
Disney
someone
does
just
is
pays us?
they want to get into games, and so they buy a bunch of studios, and then they don't get the results they want, and then they close the studios.
So we're working to close Epic. Is that what we're working
Yes.
towards? I
So the season after this is going to be Disney villains,
might
so you can
might
expect Maleficent with a shotgun, or
might I
or
suggest a
Cruella
So
de Vil with
weird.
a shotgun.
might I suggest a flaw in your plan, Knuckles? Epic still makes one of the most widely used AAA game engines in the industry right now.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Disney's gonna close that somehow.
They would probably sell it off somehow. I don't know.
Yeah, probably. I don't know.
Hey, Unity, do you want to go even deeper in debt? Have we got a deal for you?
So, are, are we going back to me, or am I done?
Yes, you were very excited about Sonic Riders Sonic, who is somehow different than the others.
All right. So, Sonic Rivals Sonic utilizes a bunch of like Riders assets. So, like his boost is the boost pads from from the actual game, where you have to like go through the gate, then it gives you a big boost. and then you also then one of
So
his
so
one of
hold
his
on, hold
other
on, hold on.
mechanics.
Hold on.
Yeah.
I want to be clear about this then. Is he just visually different? Is he a reskinning with bonus, or is this actually mechanically different?
This is mechanically different because you actually have to hit the boost pad in order to get the boost, and you can utilize the boost pads used by other Sonic, Extreme Gear Sonic players on the course. But in addition to that, he also has these wind turbines that will that you can jump off of, and you can also get a speed boost off of that. And so it's possible to like combo the boost pad and the turbines in order to get a lot of speed out of it. Like he's almost kind of broken. I was only kind of learning how to use him near the end of the video on YouTube, but he does play substantially different from the other writers' characters with those mechanics. And so I don't know, like he's just a lot of fun. I also enjoy his little duck animation, his jumping animation, because it all looks really cool. Kind of makes me want another Sonic Riders game. That and the IDW comic book that's running right now. Oh, and he can also send a little uh, wind blast that also seems to give him a little speed boost sometimes. Yeah, it's visible in the video that you're playing. But anyway, so in addition to this, I've also been finally getting into my my Mega Ever. I got a Mega Ever Drive for my birthday that can play Sega CD games, and so I've been doing a bunch of stuff off of that lately, including like Batman and Robin. It's just so wild, just playing Sega CD games on a stock Genesis and you don't get any load times or anything, and like and so I've just been digging through that library lately, and one game I played for a couple of days and I want to go back to soon is Panic GX. You know what Panic is?
Is it a Sega CD game?
Yes, but it was one of the more well-known Sega CD games in the early 2000s. Like
There is no
if you were on
well-known
that
Sega
scene.
CD games.
Yes, there were. Shut up.
Well, except for Sonic CD, maybe.
That's the only
Sonic
one.
CD, Lunar, Snatcher, and Panic,
I'll
which
give
is a
I will give you Snatcher and I will give you Lunar. I will not give you Panic.
You have to give me Panic, because I heard about that before I even owned a Sega CD. And it is a very weird, quirky Japanese video game about pressing buttons. Um, and so, like, okay. So, the story of Panic is that a computer virus has infected all of the machines of the world, because I guess they all, like, um, because I guess that they're all like I don't know running on computers now and they're like barfing or something. And what you're trying to do is you are traveling through all these different machines and pressing buttons, and you're trying to get to to like the central computer where the virus is in order to stop it. And so like you go and so like there's like I don't know has to be at least 100 different scenes in this game where you arrive in a scene and you are given a completely different panel of buttons, usually completely non-contextual, and you just press them at random until you are taken somewhere else. And you and wherever the button takes you, that's always where that button takes you. And so like you're basically navigating a maze, and whenever you press the wrong button, you just get a funny, quirky little Japanese animation. And I am not I have no idea how this even got localized. I have no idea how anyone thought this would sell. I think I would have hated this if I had bought it for money back in the day, but like as just a quirky Japanese game that I got for like $10 years ago, and I'm playing a free ROM of now. Like I am having a fun little time just like experiencing all of these weird animations and slowly navigating my way through this massive grid of scenes. And so, like, I don't know if like a quirky Japanese game is something that you're looking for. I do recommend giving that a look.
I know The more honest name of the Japanese version of it was just Switch.
Wow. So like it actually had a better name that mattered more to the game, huh? That's interesting.
Well, it made more sense anyway.
Any case. So yeah, I'm probably gonna be talking about this more. I guess remembered, oh hey, I played this game for like 3 days last week.
I don't see how
But
you could. I'm watching video of this, and I don't see how you could talk about this. This is the kind of thing where if you try to describe what you are seeing and trying to
yeah.
explain, you would sound like a madman.
Yeah, like I
And,
know there's this one scene
and
where
suddenly
like
the elevator started oozing slime, and then the phone booth started oozing slime, and then something just exploded for no reason.
the in one scene a toilet eats you with a giant tongue comes out of a toilet that's inside this like uh this blue wire frame, and it just like eats you and takes you to another room, and that's just how you
Does it
transition
poop
out
you
of
back
there.
out? Because that would be some irony.
No, it doesn't poop you back out. You just appear in the next room. And I do believe that there are some death screens in this. Like I can see on the grid that like there's like all these like some rooms with skulls on them. So I'm assuming those are like game over screens. Um, but I don't know. Like I do think I'll probably have more to talk about later. All right. So moving on to my final game, Crazy Taxi 2. Crazy Taxi 2. So I've been really getting into like Crazy Taxi type games lately. Like it was Simpsons Road Rage, and then was Crazy Taxi 3 High Roller, which I kind of had to stop playing because my Xbox CD needs my Xbox DVD player needs a tune up. But so I've been playing a lot of Crazy Taxi 2 on my Dreamcast through my GDMU, and finally, like this game is a game I've played off and on for years. I've always had fun with it, but it's never like engaged me in a serious way until now. Because like now the entire game is just totally clicking with me, and I'm now and like I finally managed to like get some legit like A ranks in this. Like I think my highest ranking so far is 24th place, $4,300, which is enough for A rank, but not enough for like the top scores. Uh, but it's really incredible just how simplistic yet deep this game is, because
Well,
you know
the
well
hook
go
the
on.
hook of it would be that basically you have to learn how to sort of coordinate gas and brake in order to perform things
Yeah.
like drifts and moves in that way. And I guess my question becomes, what separates two from one?
Well, 2 has the crazy jump and takes place in New York. And so like and so like do kind of prefer New York as a setting, but what I really love is the crazy jump, because that kind of turns this game into almost like, I don't know, a high speed racing platform or something, cuz like you can just clear entire things of traffic. You can leap up onto a bridge to take a shortcut. And you can also just jump constantly to just get a whole lot of additional cash, because in Crazy Taxi, like in addition to your standard fare and getting them there quickly, you get more money by passing close to cars and by leaping over them. And so like I'm doing everything I can to maximize my cash by doing both those things as much as possible. And it just adds a whole new layer of chaos to it that I find the original kind of lacks. Uh, and like this really makes me wish that Sega would just release a Crazy Taxi compilation. And I get that why they can't, because the version of Crazy Taxi everyone wants, and which I have been playing, by the way, has like those original soundtracks from Bad Religion and I'm blanking on the other band, but you know who I mean. Um, And so like so they'd have to like use the lesser tracks from the other versions of the game, and so I get there's a cost associated with it, but like to just have a package with all three games available on like a Nintendo Switch, I could sink like 20 hours into a thing like that easily. Because it's just the basic premise is so fun because like you're trying to chart a route that maximizes your cash by finding the right passengers, getting to to the next passenger quickly, avoiding the ones that give you like just impossible fares. Like I don't know how they expect you to do some of these, and so like yeah, so if you're into just some deep arcade action like just play Crazy Taxi on either your retro console or emulate it. I forget. I think the original might be available on Steam
It
through
is.
the Dreamcast package. Okay, so you
Yeah.
you can do that, but you won't get what are my preferred versions, which are Crazy Taxis 2 and 3. 3 is the best one because that has all of the past tracks plus all of the moves, and it's got Las Vegas thing, which is I love that area. But anyway, that's it for me. Those are the games I've been playing. GX.
Well,
You've been playing.
at this
Uh,
point we have hit we're about
Sorry.
at the 45-minute mark. So, I'm going to pass
Aw. You
week.
can at
Thank you.
least talk about the first one that's Sonic related.
I will briefly touch on it, but I have barely played it, so there's not a whole lot for me to say quite yet. I very briefly played a bit of Dr. Robotnik's Ring Racers. It is pitched on the website for it as, hey, this is not as much a casual kart racer. It is a bit more technically minded. Um, I would agree with that. It has a very it has very involved controls and a rather lengthy tutorial, and one that I didn't quite get all the way through, but at least got through a race. Uh, Control wise, I would need to spend more time with it to really figure out how I feel because I started with a character that I didn't really know how he was going to control, but kind of plays heavier and harder to steer, but faster. So that
I
it's
hear
probably not ideal to start with.
I hear it started out in a pretty rough state, but got better, like after like the first patch.
I couldn't speak to that. Like I said, I've barely touched it. I've just made my way through most of the tutorial and played just one test race. It visually it seems real neat. Um it seems like it has a lot of things in it to unlock. The tutorial has a surprising amount of lore is not the right word, but like dialogue. It has a bit of character to it, which
Hmm.
I wouldn't say like I'm thoroughly entertained by it, but someone definitely put in some effort in
Hmm.
it, and I might wrap back around after I've finished a few other games and just see if it's anything that clicks with me. But
Yeah, it's something I've been wanting to take a look at, but it's been low on my priority list.
the problem is it's on the radar of a bunch of people I follow, but they're also people that are, we'll say, closer to the speed running hyper difficulty game area. So it's like, well,
Ah,
I don't know if I'm not really in it for that, but I can at least poke at it single player and not touch the online. I don't know.
all
Uh,
right.
but yeah, I also played some Mars First Logistics. It's a really fun, really entertaining, sort of Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts like,
Oh,
basically open world transport where you have to build vehicles, basically Mars rover style vehicles, and
Ah,
attempt to transport weirdly, awkwardly shaped objects across the hills and mountains of Mars and get it to its
hmm.
destination. I also played some Final Fantasy Pixel Remaster, the very first one, and this is my first time playing a actual Final Fantasy game. I've only ever really played the rhythm game before, and hey, it's an old game. It's NES, but I would say if
Oh,
you're gonna go back and play those old Final Fantasy games, the Pixel Remaster is probably one of the best ways to do it. They've added a lot of quality of life features. It's still old, it's still grindy, it's still, it doesn't change it into a different game, but
hmm.
it does offer, just some things to make it a little bit easier and quicker if you want to.
I've seen some of Mars First Logistics before. Huh.
Eh,
Neat.
I like
Well
it,
shaded.
but also it hits the part of my brain that's like, oh yeah, I love building things out of Legos. Like specifically, I love building vehicles, like functional vehicles out of Legos. And this is nothing but, hey, build a functional vehicle out of Lego. So we got some news.
Yes, some big news,
As we do.
especially
Quite a
like the
bit.
last couple of days.
Most significantly, hey, it was Gamescom this week? No, last week.
Last week.
Last week.
Yeah,
Last week
yeah,
was
and
Gamescom.
our very own Dreadnux uh, went there. He got invited to a
Yeah.
private behind the scenes play session with two new Sonic Generations levels. Well, Kingdom Valley and the Metal Overlord boss. You can catch his hands-on preview on our website. But for the rest of us, we also got some B-roll gameplay, which I got the pleasure of editing together into a relatively coherent video to release onto YouTube and Twitter, and it gave us our first really good look at those two levels. And man, you know what? Like, I'm still really liking what we're seeing here. Like, Kingdom Valley is
Yeah.
just a such a big branchy level. Like, my god. Like, I have not seen Sonic level design this open. Wow.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
what
I
surprised
guess
me.
since the
It's
original
not like the other
generations.
it's not like the regular Sonic Generation stuff where it's just, straight down, dodge left and right, then there's a 2D scene, then it opens back up a little bit.
Like, well,
This is
Sonic
this is
Generations
very a
did
lot more
have
open.
Sonic Generations did have a bit of that openness in levels like Seaside Hill. But
A little bit, yeah.
I guess seems to be the entire game, and it's all bigger.
Well, we don't know that. It's one level so far.
No, the Arc level is also like this, where it starts out narrow and then gets very big and branchy. I talked about that in my preview. Um, so like that was the first level, and now this is probably like the third or fourth, and they're just expanding on that even more. Um, and what was really impressive about that level to me was like how the Doom powers and chaos control played into everything. So like Sega did reveal the Shadow's Doom powers, like I think right before Gamescom started. So like we have Manta Ray. We have we have one where Shadow gets Rikes and Mana Ray on water. We have one where he shoots where he shoots up to 5 projectiles. We have one where he can like go on purple surfaces and climb on walls. Um, and I'm blanking on the others, but the only two that were relevant here were the Chaos Spear and the Mana Ray. And it was really cool seeing those in actions here because like the manta ray sections that we saw, I think, okay, Doom Surf is I think is what it was called, like like those alone just provided a lot of that branchiness, like throughout the entire section main mana rake section, like you could either like you could take different ramps, you could two different ramps, you could take a center path, you could go to like two completely different sides of the stage, or you could just get out of the water altogether and like go and go somewhere else in the level. And it's just wild just how much variety you have in your traversal here. um, and another thing that I really like the look of is the chaos spear. One of my big fears with this was that, oh, I see enemy rooms and I see you having to shoot things with a projectile. Is that going to slow down the pace of the game? But instead, what we're seeing is like Shadow's just like shooting at things as he's going. Like or like there's this one enemy room where he activates chaos control, quickly dispatches most of the enemies, and then takes out another enemy with by first hitting him with like five doom shocks or whatever, the projectiles, then knocking him up in the air, and then hitting him to the wall. And it goes so fast and looks so smooth. Like it doesn't seem to slow down the actual pace of the game at all.
Yeah,
I've been.
it
Yes,
looks amazing.
Yeah. Um. But and then of course we have Metal Overlord, which that boss battle just looks really cool. According to Dread, it was on the easy side, which that was also the case with BioLizard. I am beginning to wonder if either they've made them easy for the demo, or if we're just not getting any challenging bosses for the first chunk of this game.
The Sonic Generations, I wouldn't say any of the bosses in that game were particularly challenging. I might point to like Egg Dragoon.
I guess Perfect Chaos could be kind of difficult because there's like lots of platforming, but I also try to like no. It's only difficult when you're like me and you were trying to like get enough rings for Supersonic, only to discover that doesn't work in that stage. But yeah, okay, I guess that's not too hard.
Except for Time Eater. Time Eater still is the worst boss.
Yeah, Time Eater's the one it's not that hot. He's the one that kind of sucks.
Yeah, that's kind of the one thing everyone agrees on is bad about Sonic Generations, is that the final boss is bad. But like at the very least, it's very cinematic because you're spending most of the game surfing, with the Doom Surf power up. You're dodging missiles, you're hitting them back, you're using chaos control to freeze time and hit land hits on Metal Overlord. It looks very snappy, very fun, but the main thing about it, though, that it does look very, very like at the very least they're trying to give you a sense of scale. Like there is a point where he just throws an entire egg fleet ship at you. And
I mean
Shadow has to like
that
detonate
replicates
it with his chaos spear.
Well, that replicates what happens in the final boss battle of Sonic Heroes.
Yeah, that is true, man. This another thing about this boss is that it looks like a massive upgrade from that, because that was also a bad boss battle.
Yeah, it was.
And I say this as someone who likes Sonic Heroes. It was the worst part.
Sonic Heroes has no good boss battles. There is not a good boss battle in that game.
I guess, yeah. Like as a teenager, I did not mind the damage sponge.
As a teenager, I liked a lot of things, Knuckles. Like, no, I'm not going to qualify what's good. I liked it
at the time. I'm not saying I like. I see why they're bad now, because it's just mashing the button until it dies. So like, yeah. So the reception to the footage just seems to have been like universally positive within the fandom as well. And like, yeah, this looks like a very big open game and a massive departure from the level design in Forces, especially Forces, as well as Frontiers. Like Frontiers, had the excuse of at least was like 70 levels, so that's why they tend to be smaller in scope. But Forces, man, like this is such a change from that. So, Jigs, you have anything else to add?
Not too much. Like you said, I really like the open-endedness of it, and seeing a Kingdom Valley that actually looks like it's a lot easier to control and fun to play through,
Yeah,
considering
it's sad
Sonic
that
06.
Kingdom Valley was probably like the best level in that game, and even that level is not very good.
Right.
So it's
So
really
yeah,
cool seeing it being revisited like this.
you almost wish they could revisit Sonic 06 with this engine.
I
Just do
kind of
that
wonder if
over
that's going to
again.
happen one day.
I hope
Yeah,
not.
probably not.
I hope not.
I'll wait for the mods.
Revisit Sonic 06
Somebody
and
will
make it
mod
good.
that.
It you can't do that. You cannot revisit Sonic 06 and make it good. That's the impossible task.
Oh,
What
just
are
remake the entire game in Sonic Generations.
You'd have to replace no, 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 no. We can't ship of Theseus Sonic 06. Like every part of that game is bad, from the performances to the script to the levels to the framing mechanisms. Like
It
no,
is a Sonic 06 that is written by Ian Flynn, and so everything is different. The writing, the voice acting, the levels, everything just like shares the same basic themes, and that's it.
that sound if
It's a whole new game.
so okay, okay. If I was in charge of Sega and you brought that idea to me, you would be fired on the spot. No, get out. You're not wasting our money on
Would you have
this.
security like lift me up by my pants and carry me out and throw me out into the street?
No, I would have to basically I would give you basically a slip of paper, and it would say, and you would open it up from the envelope and it would say super game. And then you would be sent into the super game mines, never to be seen again.
Oh, so I'm not getting fired. I'll just embezzle resources from the super game to make Sonic 06.
Oh no, 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 no. You don't
Yeah.
nobody there are no resources for super game. There are it's a mine. You go down into the mines, you don't come out.
Oh, okay.
The super game consumes all. You have become food for the super game.
Oh, that sounds bad. So, speaking of Sonic Shadow Generations, we've also had a lot of general news, haven't we?
We're getting a comic for it, a manga from
Yes,
Koro
a
Koro
Koro
Comics.
Koro manga. And I'm very sad that this appears to not be the same kind of comedy manga that like Sonic Dash was that they made. It seems to be a more serious shadow-centric comic.
Yeah.
Which,
Well, Shadow, you gotta have the serious with him.
I get why. We've had some funny shadow content in Sonic Boom.
We should. If they weren't cowards, they would. But Koro Koro Comics, just as a reminder, they are the comic group that basically published Super Mario Kun for however many decades and still are. That have done other stuff like the Splatoon comic, and I think there was Animal Crossing for a period of time. So it's not out of out of normal that they could make something that's a little bit more lighthearted for whatever they're going to be doing here. But
maybe like Shadow is super serious, but then like I don't know, they team them up with like I don't know, a little sprite fairy or something that's very jokey.
I don't know. They have this bug up their butt about not letting anyone have any fun with Shadow. Like there was that one time where they got to have the comic with Marine, where it has the infamous face, and then all other times it's like, nope, no one's allowed to have any fun with Shadow. Shadow is only serious times. We must make sure he has no meaningful humanizing qualities.
Technically, that didn't start until after the Archie reboot, at least.
It was the
or
first.
Maybe Archie in general.
It was the first arc in Sonic universe. It was the very first one.
But like he got plenty of He got to have plenty of humanizing moments in Archie after that. I'd say that's probably where he got better. But anyway, so it's being authored by Yuki Imada, who also wrote according to Dreadnoughts anyway, the popular series Mini 4 King and the Bikuri Men spin-off Private Maiden Girls College. So maybe Chao goes to like a girls' college. Maybe that's what this is about.
I don't want my 50-year-old man to be going to a girls' college. That makes me very uncomfortable, but unfortunately it makes me even more uncomfortable knowing we'll say how commonplace it is for student teacher relationships in Japan. I don't like any of this hypothetical.
Yeah. The manga is coming out September 13th. We're probably gonna have to rely purely on scan translation on scan fan
Look, they don't
translations
tend to
even.
bring this stuff over stateside.
I hope that changes with this. That would be nice. Like there's lots of Sonic manga I would love to see.
Weirdly, I know with Super Mario Kun that got translated to French for quite a few volumes, but I'm not familiar with any of the Sonic ones coming over.
Those lucky Frenchies. Yeah, none of the Sonic mangas came over. I really wish that would change. If only so, like I'd be able to see what they're all about.
You know what else we're not getting?
What else are we not getting? GX?
We're not getting Sonic Generations anymore.
No, kind of, thankfully.
Kind of. So,
Kind of, yeah.
So Sonic Generations is going to be delisted from major platforms on September 9th. I believe it's already delisted on Xbox proper.
Yeah, it was quietly delisted while the store was being shut down.
Right, but I believe it is still available on Steam if you want it on Steam, which, like, the main reason to get it, if you're getting it on any platform, the platform to still be getting it on would be Steam, if only because, like, the reason why you would get it is for mods, or because, you know, we're only still crossing our fingers that there's not going to be anything major wrong with this version of the game.
Sega, don't mess this up. Make this perfect. I'm begging you.
But apparently they're also going to have a special bundle, basically coming out shortly after that will include the original version of the game if you are inclined to want that.
I think they actually, I think the bundle's already available. I think it was about $60 and comes with like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, Sonic 4 episodes 1 and 2, and I think one of the Sonic racing games or something.
Basically everything up to the point that Generations came out and kind of it. But yeah, if you need that for any reason, the original Sonic Generations, well, they basically answered the concerns that you were raising before.
And if I'm being honest, I'm happy with that. Like, it's being kept available. It's going to be in a package. It's going to be put on sale regularly. So you're not going to have to spend full price on it.
My attitude still remains probably the best course of action would have been to just give you the original if you have purchased the remake, and just maybe rename it to like Sonic Generations Classic or something like that. But quite honestly, like this is a very reasonable compromise by that. And if you're wondering why would they delist it at all, the reason is SEO, search engine optimization. Basically they don't want people to be searching for, oh, what's the new game out? Sonic Generations, and get some search results that aren't going to quite align with what they want you to see. It's not a sexy answer, but whenever, you know, it's part of the marketing. It's part of marketing.
And hopefully Sonic X
I'll Google Sonic X Shadow and forget the Generations part. I'm like, hey, wait a minute.
And hopefully Sonic X Shadow Generations is going to be such a good port that this is ultimately not going to matter for like 90% of players.
Look, all I want is something that's going to be better on PC than the original PC release.
Something that isn't so glitchy and problematic. Like whenever I want to play this game on PC after not touching it for a while, something always seems to break.
Yeah, kind of. So, yeah. Hopefully, if for some reason you need it, for example, if there's some sort of Sonic hacking contest coming up in late September, might be a good, and of course, if you still need to invest, then there you go. You have a way to do it.
Yeah.
For some reason, that I cannot begin to fathom, Limited Run Games will be handling the physical collector's edition of Sonic X Shadow Generations.
God. I want this so much, but not for this price.
I don't.
I can understand the price for everything you get there. I just don't. I'm just not interested in waiting that long.
Sega just sell the Sonic and Shadow Dreamcast statue for $90. I'll get that. Okay, I will get that. I promise.
Do you believe that? Okay,
else.
hold on. Do you believe Sega is manufacturing these?
No, I'm sure that's something LRG is doing.
Probably. They have. Look, they're doing it because they have some degree of the connections to actually get something like this done. Whereas for Sega, it's probably not worth it for them. Like, look. Limited Run Games has a lot of problems as a company. A lot of problems, especially with a lot of their recent retro releases. But it does make some degree of sense to, have them as a distribution partner for something stupid like this that has a bunch of crap that's in it that you don't want to actually sell through major retailers. If you could just get them to do, much as we were discussing with Disney.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what doesn't cost you money? Getting someone else to do the work.
Like, look, there is a possibility that I may still end up with this. I'm just gonna say that now.
Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't.
Because
that statue's
really
not worth $250
in here.
It's not worth it, man. Paper is cheap.
It's so close to being worth it to me. Like I could get this. I could get the Steam code, which I want, which is technically like $50 the cost in and of itself. It's kind of funny that they have Forever Physical on the graphic for this when they're offering us a digital code for one of the bundles.
You know who doesn't have to pay $250 to make this? Limited Run Games. Most of the stuff in here is just paper. Like
I'm gonna have to look into this and see if they ever put stuff on sale once it doesn't sell.
Well, I mean, a lot of it is you go through a pre-order period. Like their pre-orders have already begun. They're gonna go through till October 6th, and they're probably going to use that information to inform how many to make or order. But
man, we've got the Sonic statue, we've got the Sonic and Shadow Dreamcast statue, we've got a commemorative Dreamcast jewel case, which tickles my very specific interest.
Oh, that's so
Chao figurines.
Don't.
And an art book, which I do like art books, including.
But it's not a good. Stuff. But it's not the art book that you would want. It's not like the full nice hardcover art book that would be great to thumb through. No, it's one of the dinky art books.
It's not like one of the ones that came with Sonic Colors that was an exclusive one.
It's also going to come. Another plus for me is that currently I am definitely not getting the Professor Gerald's Journal. But if I were to get this with the Steam digital code, then I would also.
Does it come with that? Because I don't see it in the picture.
Yes, it does. This was something that Sega confirmed.
Okay.
I think it's also mentioned in the.
A physical day one
article.
Physical day one edition.
Like, man, if this were $100 cheaper, I would almost certainly get it. But
don't need the crap in my house.
Like, I don't know. Like, it's almost definitely a no. I'm probably just gonna stop thinking about this and then just let the pre-order period pass and then not get it. But
What would you
I
do
can't
with the
promise that.
jewel case? Like, jewel cases already suck. They're
Jewel
the
case
worst
is
way.
just gonna sit next. Jewel case is just gonna sit displayed next to the Dreamcast statue.
Jewel cases are the frickin' worst. Like, they break so easily, and they're so cheap and crappy. Like,
Yeah, but it's a
Because
Dreamcast jewel
nostalgia,
case.
man. That was my teenagehood. Can't say childhood because that was from the 80s.
so is that how you determine purchasing decisions?
No, I'm just joking.
No, don't spend $250 to get this. Don't give limited run your money for this. Don't encourage this kind of behavior.
I don't know, man. This is just tickling me in all the right ways. It's hard.
I'll tell you what.
That's what she said.
I got back whenever Sonic Mania came out, and they offered the classic Sonic standing on
I have that too.
the Genesis, and the biggest problem with it is it's bigger than anywhere where I could reasonably put it.
The problem is those things are
I
life
did find
size.
a place for it myself, thankfully.
But also
And
that
that's another reason why I kind of want it, because it's like Sonic, classic Sonic.
But also,
let me give you an example.
Adventure Sonic on the Dreamcast.
I got a good sale on like that Knuckles the Dread pirate ship, and I got the
you
little
didn't buy the
pirate
ship,
crew for
did
half
you?
off.
Oh,
I bought it, and it just stays in the box because I
Oh.
have no room for it, and it was a stupid decision.
yeah, don't get big unnecessary merch. We don't need merch. We need less merch from
I don't buy
Sonic.
much merch, which is what makes this more.
Don't spend $250 on it.
I do have some room.
You could get an analog pocket for less than $250.
Yes, that's a much better
Ooh.
deal.
Yeah, but I got a Steam Deck. I don't need an analog pocket.
I mean, I also don't need an analog pocket, but I'd rather have that than the dumb statue. At least the analog pocket I'd be able to do something with.
You are talking to someone who has a Ryo Hazuki statue and a Vice from Skies of Arcadia.
Have too many
statue.
statues. Stop adding statues. Nobody needs that many statues.
It's 2 statues, GX.
So yeah. Izuka had some stuff that he was talking about. He was talking about why we have Doom powers, and he's talking about the hub world, and he said some grade A nonsense about the Vegeta stuff hit me hard because it's not that he's wrong. It's that he doesn't. The way he described Vegeta is wrong. That's what bothered me.
I mean, technically, Vegeta does eventually become Goku's friend at
No, he doesn't.
near the end of the manga, doesn't he? Like, at the very least,
They're
friendly
rivals. They're rivals. He hangs out with Goku because he wants to be better than Goku. He wants to be stronger than him.
They're not friends. They're not like it's not like
okay, well, they are much friendlier than they were during like the Cell arc.
Say Goku and Vegeta. Vegeta's friendlier with Goku than Shadow is with Sonic.
Like, do we want to talk about the Majin Buu intro? Like, are we gonna say, oh yeah, Vegeta's real friendly there?
Vegeta briefly became evil again, and then he's sacrificed himself in a futile attempt to stop a giant purple gumball genie.
So I don't. Yeah, I guess we'll get into specifics of that, but yeah, hey.
Yeah, Shadow just he does his own thing. That's all.
Like, and for the record, I personally don't really care for the kind of characterization that Izuka lays out for Shadow. If I'm being honest, I would prefer a Shadow who is friendlier to Sonic. If I'm being honest,
I don't need him to be friendlier to Sonic. I need him to have a frickin' personality that isn't I'm dark. That isn't like Batman with no teeth.
But just constantly brooding for brooding's sake.
So regarding what Izuka said about the Doom powers, like basically, the goal of the team was to differentiate Shadow more from Sonic, and it certainly does seem like they have succeeded on that front because Chao does look very different from Sonic in terms of his playstyle now. Yeah, he does still have all of Sonic's boosting. But what I find interesting is that like it seems like the Doom powers are going to be what allow you to get through, navigate through the different parts of the hub world.
So
Um,
you know what game really could have used something like this?
Sonic Frontiers.
Sonic
Sonic Frontiers,
Frontiers,
yes.
dang it! That's
Like
how
this
you
is
define
basically
progression in an open world game like that.
yeah. So they figured that out for Sonic Shadow Generations apparently.
The game that
Um,
didn't
so
need it as much.
so like a couple of these like I laid out before, a couple of these powers are like very traversal centric. Like so Doom Wave like gets you across water. There's another power that allows you to like climb up walls and stuff. Um, I assume that for the projectile one, you'll probably like have to hit switches or enemies or something. And Doom Blast, which is when you hit an enemy into things, you can also hit enemies into switches and through walls and stuff. And so I assume Max how that's going to unlock that little power.
Yeah, like
And
I'm not gonna complain about this. Like my favorite Sonic modern game continues to be Sonic Colors. So going back and
yeah,
saying, yeah,
I actually made a on
Yeah, that's a
with
good
Sonic
good
Stadium.
Look,
choice.
I mean,
I made
look,
a
everyone's going back and referencing the time Archie had like these dark wisp Black Doom things.
on Sonic Stadium. I said, hey, don't these three look kind of like don't look kind of like edgy wisps?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like some people start no, they're supposed to be like Shadow's vehicles, but most people agree. Oh yeah, and
No,
the
it
final
is.
one, which I keep blanking on, is Doom Wings, which we found out through the trailer footage. You can like you can actually still like run around and boost with that, and can like, but then you can like jump up into the air and fly. So it's more it's not just like an auto flight section. It's like something you can actually control. That's definitely going to be like a traversal thing. So
Yeah.
yeah, like these Doom powers seem like exactly the kind of thing that Sonic Frontiers needed, and I'm really happy that we're getting that now.
I would have preferred it if they had it in Sonic Frontiers, a game where I did not have to play as Shadow.
Yeah,
They
well,
kind of eventually
hopefully this
got
means
there
we'll
with
get
the
it in Sonic Frontiers
DLC.
too.
I think the
What'd you say?
DLC's upgrade trees made a lot more sense than the base game's upgrade tree for Sonic.
Yeah.
But yeah. But yeah. Izuka said, hey, there's more stuff about the hub world, and the two stories may
Oh,
connect in some way.
oh yeah. He did say in the interview that Sonic and Shadow's stories are going to interconnect at points. And so, like, this does seem to mean that like there will be some interplay between the two games plot wise. Which, like, technically, Shadow did pop up twice in Sonic Generations,
It's
albeit
What's
once as a
weird is we
rival
know
and
there's
then
going to be
once to act
at
as.
least 1 or 2 levels from Sonic Forces in
yeah.
this as
Oh,
well, and
yeah, that
so we
I forgot
gotta.
to mention that we are getting levels from Sonic Forces and Sonic Frontiers.
Lore nuts are being real weird
Even though
about
they're taking
this.
place at the same time, but hey, it's a time thing, so I guess it don't matter if they have few levels from the
Uh,
future.
Lord nuts like Shigs apparently. No, they care about having the levels in. They don't care about when this takes place. Nothing
My
of
expectation is that they are going to handwave this as, oh, these are things from your future, and leave it at that. Like,
Yes, it's
sometimes
that's really simple to explain.
or just
yeah,
not say when this game
sometimes,
takes place cuz nothing there
sometimes,
is no meaningful timeline in Sonic.
sometimes Sonic game plot lines just introduce things that make no sense, and like, it just gets hand waved. And I think that's fine. I
Sonic
know that there are
Yeah.
people who get obsessed with the lore, who get annoyed by that stuff, but I don't care because we now have a boost stage that takes place in Sonic Frontiers, and
yeah,
it's like most interesting map to me,
it's
Chaos Island.
it's probably going to be more interesting than the actual Sonic Frontiers map.
Yeah, probably. Like we saw in the trailer, Shadow using the Doom power that like lets them climb on walls and stuff. So that's and, oh yeah, it can also swing on these purple lights in the air, so that you can also like grapple around.
Put in mandatory
So
pinball, you cowards.
oh yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, do it. Um,
I guess we should.
but
I guess we should also like actually get into. So the quote is, yes, there are some ways that people interpret Shadow that are not how the team is intending. I think the biggest one, if you look online, everyone's like, oh, this is Dragon Ball's Vegeta. Vegeta really starts out as an enemy and then later becomes a friend and an ally and kind of like fights for justice and trying to save the world and whatnot. Shadow is
he
not
does
like
not do
that.
that.
I never want him to be like that. Shadow is doing his own thing. He's not friends with Sonic. He's going off and do whatever he feels is correct or right or what he needs to do, etc., etc., etc. The so number issue number 1 gets into my long-standing issue of, well, if you want that to be believable, then you have to create a world where that is believable. You have to have these characters be developed in such a way that that is believable. Now, admittedly, we don't have this game out yet, but Shadow
This
has
game
been
needs to be the game that does that.
Shadow has been around for what? We're approaching or over 20 years at this point. We're probably over 20
Yeah,
years.
Yes,
here's the
yes.
thing,
In
like,
fact, we're
Shadow
about
had
25.
Shadow, like he got introduced in Sonic Adventure 2. He became a good guy at the end, and then like the next two games just spend time on like him
They
having
spun their
amnesia
wheels.
and not knowing anything.
They
And
kind
like
of spun their wheels on giving him
yeah,
any meaningful development or progress. They kind of poked at the idea of maybe doing that, but were very non-committal towards any of it, and just sort of landed on, oh no, he's here now. Shadow's here.
Shadow had a whole game devoted to him where they basically did nothing with the character plot wise because they decided to like add this weird branching choice path storyline where everything is non-canon and he has no consistent character or behavior.
Yep.
like like that was such of a waste of a game in terms of establishing who Shadow was post SA2. And don't even and Sonic Heroes, like my biggest gripe with that game plot wise remains like how they had Sonic and Shadow interact for the first time, where it's just basically they joke around, nothing happens. I hate the writing from that era of Sonic, especially. Oy vey. But like the only game that kind of did anything with Shadow was Sonic 06, which wipes itself from continuity.
Eh.
Um, and then Shadow just kind of disappears from the franchise for like a decade until Sonic Forces comes out. Aside from the Sonic Boom stuff.
But yeah, look. First and foremost, it's obviously not a one-to-one analog between those two characters.
Yeah.
But we can't separate the nature of Shadow as the evil Sonic, which he was introduced as and they sort of continue to market him as, in comparison to like how the nature of the shonen genre character rival is realized. And in this case,
Shadow
like,
is
hey,
very much a Sasuke. Like that is what I call all the shonen rival characters, including the ones I like more than Sasuke. He is a Sasuke.
he's
He
more
is a very shallow Sasuke, but he is nevertheless a Sasuke.
he's more Sasuke than he is Vegeta. But the problem
Although
is
I
that
would argue that Vegeta was kind of like the prototypical Sasuke in that he was more of a villain than a rival for a while, and he just kind of eventually fell into that role close to the end of his time in the manga.
but you just kind of have to look at this and think like, no, the problem is when you invite the Dragon Ball comparisons by the way that your franchise has decided to structure itself, I mean, for God's sake, Sonic Frontiers decided to give him a new super form. Yeah, guess what Dragon Ball does every freaking new season? It's like, oh, Goku can
Uh,
now
we
he's
had
blue. Now he has super instinct or some
we
crap.
had Supersonic, and then we had Hypersonic, who,
And
in terms of color scheme, is actually kind of close to Ultra Instinct. So they beat Dragon Ball to that when you think about it.
like there's so much of Sonic that is just taken from other media. So like we're looking. I mean, look, we could also make the comparison to, hey, all of Dr. Eggman's aesthetics. That sure does look like Frieza tech, doesn't it? But
I would say that Shadow, at the very least, clearly has Vegeta inspirations. Like I would say he's less of an outright villainous character than Vegeta was. Like even at his worst, like at his worst, he was driven by revenge, whereas Vegeta was just an asshole.
well,
um,
Vegeta goes by his pride. Like if there is a differentiating factor here, Vegeta is driven all by emotion, whereas Shadow is a much more pragmatic character.
yeah.
And
But I don't
yeah,
know, like the parallel has always seemed obvious to me, and as I understand, like that was like the intention early on, and I think that is for with Azuka, it's probably the case. What he's probably trying to communicate is that Shadow is not supposed to be the Vegeta anymore. Like Vegeta has become a nicer, softer character in Super, and like he doesn't want Shadow to be like any iteration of Vegeta at this point, especially the current one. But to
yeah.
say Vegeta fights for justice seems rather silly. He does not.
No, Vegeta fights for
Vegeta,
Vegeta.
at the most, fights is for his family, and that's about
Yeah,
it.
like
Pride.
that's
Pride
what
in
the
his family, and
current
that's it.
good Vegeta does.
Yeah.
Like, go on.
No, I'm just yeah. That's we kind of covered it. I
Yeah,
I,
His
I
family, and to try to be better than Goku, stronger.
if you want to make this true, then you have to be able to prove it. Much in the same way that whenever we had the interview with him and just asked about Shadow's motivations, I felt the need to push that question, if only because none of the games have opted to really push this question at all. With
I want to ask that question because like all we've ever heard is what Shadow is not allowed to do. you
yeah,
know, he's not allowed to do this. He's not allowed to do that. He's not allowed
Oh
to
God,
be
yes,
be
all those
emotional.
freaking
He's not
rules about surrounding one character.
like
It's insane.
like like Ian Flynn had to completely rewrite how Shadow is going to be in the Metal Virus saga because they said that like he couldn't be, I think it was like self-sacrificial or something, and so like instead
Yeah,
he
instead, he
just had
came
Shadow
off as like an
fight
idiot.
until he was infected and be an idiot.
yeah, that I again, my stance kind of remains that the I would very much like post Frontiers for them to just step back, push through some sort of generational change where they can abandon or at least like significantly rework a lot of what they're doing with the characters, create a world, create characters that have roles in that world, figure out where we can place these characters and develop these characters in a meaningful way, because I don't think that where the series is at right now that they could do that organically.
Hmm.
I don't think that they could just
Yeah, like
slowly
I have
build
agreed
this
with
up
you on that
anymore.
whenever you suggested it. Like that seems like the best place for them to go after Frontiers, but I also don't think they're gonna do it.
I don't think they will either, but I think it needs done. I think there's too much baggage right now of things that they have wanted to do with the series over the course of 20 years. I think we're due for just some sort of refresher.
Like, I don't know, at the very least, they need to use this game to define who Shadow is going forward. I'm hoping that they will, because it is basically their first big opportunity to do this in 20 years. And I'm hoping that once we get to the Frontiers follow up, there's going to they will like let all those characters kind of continue what they started at the end of that game. But I don't know. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, when you don't really firmly establish how your world is structured, and you don't really seem to be particularly interested in it, and you don't really have characters with roles or with set locations where they stay, maybe you
Yeah.
suffer with not having well developed characters.
Although I think part of the problem is that like the Sonic franchise is suffering from brandification. Like
Yeah,
th- they really want these things to be these characters to be a very specific brand, and when you do that, characterization is gonna take a hit. Like they don't want to change who Sonic is because they've carefully crafted the current Sonic to be something that is mass marketable.
I have for a long quite a while had a opinion piece in my head with about basically highlighting the fact that Sonic having a meaningful story is in direct opposition to Sonic being a mascot. Like
Yeah.
these are two forces that make it extremely difficult to maintain both. And I don't think they're successful in doing so.
I do think there is a middle ground to have. I would
Oh,
argue that
absolutely.
Archie was able to achieve that during its Fling years for the most part
I'll
by
argue
giving
IDW
us.
can mostly can it is pretty decent at getting there. Like it whatever you think.
IDW, the current arc does feel like it is getting there in a way that it hasn't in a while. So,
Yeah.
I would say
but
past arcs are fine at it because they let a story breathe and they tell a story.
yeah,
But yeah, like there needs to be if you're going to build it around a narrative, you need to have a narrative, and you need to have characters that can execute on that narrative, and you need to
but
have
like
a
what Archie
place where that
did
narrative
was
can happen.
what Archie did was it was able to like have the illusion of character development without fundamentally changing any of the central
Well,
cast too much.
I mean, to some degree, you're talking about its soap opera nature.
Yeah.
Like that yeah, that's kind of what you want out of an ongoing soap opera is you want the illusion of development that can easily be driven right off a cliff if you need to. So,
And like I do think that's the kind of thing that can work pretty well for a character that's largely supposed to be static.
yeah, I, you know, like I said, this there's room for an opinion piece on this at some point in the near future. But
Yeah, I've like had the brandification of Sonic in the back of my head for about 6 months now.
yeah, you and me both. But we can talk about some game sales.
Yay! Sega profits up 181%, mostly due to Rovio, as I understand it, and also the new Shin Megami Tensei.
Yep. Well, new in big air quotes.
Okay,
Yeah.
the enhanced port.
The re-release that's not a Switch exclusive. That
Yeah.
they will not give you any sort of meaningful discount if you own the old version.
Sega keeping that old
Good
Atlas business model still, I
good
see.
job, Atlas. But no, they're hey, I like seeing them branch out. Admittedly, I don't love seeing the ways that they will continue to branch out through Angry Birds because I don't like mobile economics. But it's healthy for them to have strong business elsewhere other than just Sonic.
Yeah, which is good, right?
Because Super Game, we must feed the Super Game.
Because Sonic sales dropped 50%
Well,
in the last quarter.
yes, but they don't have a game right now.
That is true. Last year
Exactly.
they
Anything
had the
new?
Origins DLC, which I'm sure must have moved sales, and Sonic Frontiers would have still been going from its release. And Superstars is apparently, I don't know, just fallen off a cliff or something. But Sonic sold 670,000 units versus 1.22 million last year.
I don't have any firm data on this, but Superstar seems like it didn't hit what they wanted it to hit, but it seems like it's probably okay-ish.
Yeah, I'm sure it did fine. I'm hoping it did fine because I want another one. But
I would like something else. I would certainly like a different developer to make something else. I don't
but
think I would be satisfied with another Sonic Superstars, and I suspect a lot of other players, even maybe some of the defenders of that game, might want something that goes a little bit further than that game was willing to.
yeah, I definitely think
Yeah.
they need to drop the multiplayer and drop whatever
Oh, the multiplayer was
whatever they were doing with
terrible.
Trip.
Can we
The
Trip all design.
multiplayer just did not work.
Can we also
Yeah.
drop Arzest? Can we please drop Arzest? I'm trying not to be too mean to its head because of the legacy he has, but
hey, this was still probably like the best game RSS has ever made.
that's not as high of a compliment as I think you're trying it to mean. I've played a lot of Arzest games. They're all fairly bland.
So Sega expects an uptick in Sonic game sales later this year because
Because
Chao
they'll have the
Gardens
Sonic
is
game.
coming out. And with Sonic X Generations and Sonic Rumble, and Sega hopes to end the fiscal year with 29.6 million game units sales, which is a slight increase over their previous fiscal year. So, fingers crossed.
But unfortunately, what we won't be seeing on the Sonic front this year in terms of games is Sonic and the Moon Facility.
I am glad that they're at least still releasing like the levels, as like basically we're not getting all of the extra stuff. The levels are going to be finished, going to be released. We can play them, but that's going to be it. Which better than nothing. But man, this is such a disappointment for me because like Sonic and the Falling Star was one of the best Sonic games I've played. Like not as good as Triple Trouble 16-bit, but still really good. And apparently, like this all happened back in like February too. But I don't know, like when it comes to these games, I love their how they look. I love their aesthetic, the colorful sprite work, and it's a shame that this is going to be the end of all that. But like fan games are never a thing you can do forever. Like they've all got to move on eventually.
Yeah, like Noah Copeland started the remake, his version of the remake of what Sonic Drift. That ultimately he was like, no, and then
Yeah,
basically
which
said
is a
he's
shame
moving
because I
on
was
to
having a
other
lot of fun with
projects.
that.
If it's not working out, you just got to give it up instead of just wasting time on something that's just not working out for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or if you just
So,
can't
where's
wrangle
Star
people,
Drop?
like the biggest challenge of projects like this are, hey, if you're not working on a professional for money project, then you might not necessarily have a producer to help kind of wrangle everything that would need wrangled for that, and
Yeah.
it's difficult
Not to
building
mention you're
something
doing this
like
in your
that
free
without.
time.
Yeah.
So, according to Star Drop, the game is currently playable from start to finish, but it's missing a lot of features and polish. Obviously, we don't want to release it in the state that it's in right now, but we're all busy, so there's no estimated release date as to when the build will come out. So please lower your expectations. What they will release whenever it happens is not going to be the original version of the game. The story is going to be in like a Google Doc, and there's a lot of content beyond that won't be added. But hey, like I said, at least we're gonna get something.
We're gonna get a Sonic Stadium is what we're gonna get.
Oh yeah, man, this was wild. Like,
That sounds kind of
so
familiar.
Hong Kong Joypolis is getting a Sonic Stadium thing. This is just
Are we
what
gonna
you
have
have
to
to
change
deal
our
with when you
name?
run a Sonic site. Like, eventually, Sega is going to name something that is the same as your site.
It hit Sonic Channel. No, Sonic. No, was it Sonic Channel? What was the other thing that
Ah,
they had? that they named
Um,
the presentations off. Sonic Central.
Sonic Central, yeah.
Whereas there is an
Um,
existing, I thought there is or was an existing Sonic Central.
so like Sonic Stadium is designed to
Oh,
infuse popular elements into sporting activities, allowing players of all ages to immerse themselves in the world of Sonic the Hedgehog and the excitement of sports. So it is literally a Sonic themed sports stadium type deal within this arcade.
I'm
So
just
that does make a lot of sense.
yeah, it does. But now I've got it stuck in my mind that suddenly they rebrand Tails Tube into Tails Channel,
Oh
and then
God.
they I don't know, they do some sort of rebrand of the Shadow prologue chapter, and it's suddenly Shadow of a Hedgehog.
You know, Sonic X Shadow also kind of took its name from a fan thing too. When you think about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, for sure, for sure. But
So yeah.
hey, did you know that T Lopes, he makes music? He makes
Yes,
music.
yes, he did.
Yes, he
Eh,
does, and he makes good music.
He makes some Ninja Turtle music and some. I'm trying to think of what other games he was recently doing stuff for. Penny,
didn't he
I
Uh,
do
think.
something for
yeah,
River
yeah,
City
the
Girls?
Yo-Yo girl whose name's of Teddy's Big Breakaway. I think he did the music for that.
Oh yeah, he did.
But
Music for that
apparently
was
he
really
made.
good.
I don't know if you guys know this, but he made some music for Sonic Mania.
Yeah, and for the game's 7th anniversary, he released something that that ended up going unused in favor of the track for Press Garden. Um, and I think I'm the only one here who's listened to it. It's
Describe it in
it's
excruciating detail.
it is the unreleased track for Pulp
Describe
Friction
music.
Zone, which I love that name. Oh my god. Press Garden is like my favorite original level in Mania because of its theme and its color, but man, that is just such a much better name as a fan of Pulp Fiction and the director whose name I'm blanking on. But what it's just like the rest of his Mania tracks. It's really good. Um, the main defining thing about it that kind of separates it from the other Sonic tracks out there is that it seems to heavily feature a digitized shamisen, which is like a Japanese guitar. Um, and so it gives it kind of that Japanese flair to it, which I guess which makes sense given that Press Garden that does have like Japanese lanterns and sakura trees and stuff in it. So I'm glad he released it. I'm kind of wondering what else he might have under wraps that never came out that he's like saving for occasions like this.
Right now, what's under wraps is the Sonic Rumble release.
Oh man, I'm so looking forward to this game. Like, which is not something I say often about mobile games, but this was fun, and I'm glad that we got and I'm glad to see that things seem to be spinning up, and it's in the way that this is usually done, where they release it in some random country in like Asia first, which in this case is the Philippines.
Yeah,
Um,
it's going to have. This is pretty normal for
yeah,
mobile games that it's going to have a sort of staggered release. Obviously, it's not like a launch. They call it a pre-launch with a pre-registration period, and this kind of serves the same function as like a beta, where they can take these other smaller regional things and kind of use that to gauge, like, okay, where do we still need to make fixes, where do we still need to make adjustments, basically work on a small territory first before you start working it towards global launch. And
yeah,
because it's harder to pivot things like your economic structure whenever you are whenever you have done a full global release. So if you do it in small territories first, it gives you the leeway to kind of adjust things to figure out what your dials need to be set to help, both technically and economically, we'll say.
Yeah, man, I really hope they don't get too greedy with this game.
I
But
mean,
so
so here's the thing though, and
yeah,
I'm gonna have the pitch to you. What if you just don't get other characters? What if you don't care about getting other characters and you just play a game?
GX.
What if
That
you're
is
not a
like,
broken individual?
I mean, I guess if you don't care about the characters, then you're gonna be fine.
Probably. They have Zavik.
Maybe they should do the Marvel Rivals thing where they give you all the characters and they just have you purchase the skins on the characters.
They
Well, the thing
definitely
is,
have
like,
characters, but
there's
then they also have skins.
the characters and the skins are the same in this.
Yeah. Like they're good. They're gonna get you whichever way they're
I
gonna
should say
get you.
cosmetics. My bad.
But also, it seems like there's no real difference between, as near as I can tell, changing characters is purely aesthetic, as near as I can tell.
Like
So.
I like the reason why I want to play why I want to like unlock silver so I can play as silver, not because silver like has unique attributes or something.
But honestly, who would actually want to play as silver?
I do. I want to play as silver.
Why?
And I also I even played as Crystal Zavik, and he was like the worst character in the beta.
He was pretty great. It's pretty great having this crystal clear. It's like, hey, move over, Pink Gold Peach. We've got Crystal Zavik.
Yeah, Crystal Zavik is worse because Zavik himself is already a bad character with like a design that is just, I guess, not care for.
He's dollar store Bowser.
Like, yeah, but then you just like make him entirely composed out of crystal, like sap whatever personality he had. Now it's just downright bad.
However, there is a character that you will hopefully get to play in the near future, and it is Marine in a game. You probably won't
but
play
not
that.
a game I want to play.
No, probably not a game you want. I'm not. I am still unsure about Sonic Speed Battle. I can tell you I had a pretty good time with Kess Entertainment's classic Sonic themed game Sonic Roll. It was very complicated. I don't think the instructions were great. I think it has like just a couple too more, just like one or two too many layers of modifiers on things happening that they could have probably done away with to make it a more streamlined experience. But even despite all that, I thought it was a pretty satisfying co-op / solo game. Sonic Speed Battle is much more it's much more straightforward. It's a lot faster. It's a lot simpler. And the premise of it is, pardon me. Sorry. The premise of it is you're going to have different sets of characters, which basically all that means is you're going to have different sets of special modifiers that you as a player will have. And the game is broken up into 3 possible play modes. Speed race mode. That's not the terminology that they gave, but whatever. A shooting mode and a treasure hunting mode, and they all use this unified deck of 4 different suits, and their suits are rings, springs, invincibility, and there's a 4th one. Ring, springs, invincibility, and I don't know, 4th one. Speed shoes. That's the fourth one, which is weird,
Hmm.
but whatever. And the idea is each of these three modes have different rules that use those different suits and numbers on the suits in different ways. So in the treasure hunting mode, the idea is that you need to build a tableau of cards that match cards on an emerald shard card. So you could place one card on your tableau a turn, and if you're going after an emerald that says, okay, a 1, a 2, and a 2, then you need, using one of the suits, to build a stack of them that basically include a 1, a 2, and a 2. If you can do that, you get to take it. If you get 2, then you win. So yeah, it's not too crazy. I am at least looking forward to giving it a fair shake, but this is probably going to be less interesting to someone like me who is looking for, much more involved, or at least much more flavorful tabletop experiences. But for a more generalized audience, I think this is going to be much more digestible.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a little bit easier for people to at least wrap their heads around, because like I said, Sonic Roll, it's decent, but it's decent with a lot of rules. So, we got to introduce we participated in their character reveal week, and
Yeah. We did Marine. You did Marine.
we got to reveal Marine. The unfortunate thing was, we did not get to pick which one we got to reveal, but another Sonic online personality got to reveal the one that I would have wanted, which was, this is going to be the first time in any Sonic game at any point where Orbot and Cubot are going to be playable in some form. Never before have we had them
I
playable
will say
in a meaningful
this.
way.
I would be interested in this game if there was like some kind of digital version that I could play online.
I don't think there's enough going on with it that it would be worth the digital. Like, it's just not. If we ever find reason to meet up, I'll bring it or show you or something. But I think I looked at the shooting battle, and I think if you just boil down what you're doing for the shooting battle, is it still has some modifiers and stuff, but it's basically, okay, who's playing the higher number card, and then that person gets a point or something. I was like, I was reading that, and I still need to wrap my head around the other modes. I mostly focused on the one that we were reporting on, but some of them are pretty simple in a way that, kind of concerns me. I hope I'm wrong. I hope that once I get hands on, it's going to be more interesting than I'm giving credit, but makes me nervous. It makes me nervous that I'm looking at something that's just going to be, maybe a bit too simple to be interesting.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it'll at least work for the kids. Get them more interested in card games.
Like I said, for the type of people that our audience would be composed of, I would say that it's probably going to hit closer for them. But as someone who cares about tabletop games, I can kind of read these rules and think there's not a lot of stuff going on here, is there? And maybe there is. Maybe it's all surface level. Who knows? But that's not the only thing that's I don't know where I'm going with this. Hey, do you like Sonic CD?
Yes, I do. As a matter of fact,
I hear that you like playing Sega CD games without necessarily attaching a Sega CD unit to your Genesis.
yes.
Sometimes
I'm doing it with my Mega EverDrive Pro flash card.
But what if I told you that you could play it without both of those? What
I would be well, I'm still gonna need a flash
You're
card,
still
but
going to need a
I would
flash
be
card.
very excited.
Yeah, there's going to be a coming up at Sonic Hacking Contest. We are getting a preview trailer for one of the projects there, MD Sonic, project headed up by MD Travis, along with several other artists, programmers, and decompilers,
Hmm.
who has basically done work to convert Sonic CD to something that can be run on standard Mega Drive or Genesis hardware. Uh, Basically, just a Mega Drive Genesis ROM that can run Sonic CD, and this is going to be the version 0.02 release whenever it
Yeah.
hits Sonic Hacking Contest, which means keep expectations reasonable, which is something that not everyone is doing or reporting on.
Yeah.
I'm personally, the trailer just showed Palm Tree Panic, and right
Yeah.
now that is all I am expecting to see. Maybe there will be more, but my expectation right now is proof of concept that this will work. That
Yeah.
But like if they do actually manage this, like there are some very interesting technical feats that they would have to like accomplish here. They are doing remaking the soundtrack
mhm,
to play on a Genesis because you're not getting CD quality audio out of a Genesis ROM no matter
no.
what you do. But like what I'm interested in is like how some of the other things that they're going to do. Like one of the things that Sonic CD did to take advantage of the whole CD space was, three versions of each level overlapped on one another, and like I do believe the trailer did show like
There is time travel.
multiple that there would be time travel.
There is functional
And
time travel. To my knowledge, there is no sort of loading screen that the other one needs. There's no like breaking animation that takes you from one to the other. It's just it goes through, you hit the
that just
certain
seems insane.
speed, Sonic disappears in a flash and then suddenly appears in the other version of the level.
Like that is wild in and of itself. But like then like on top of that, another thing I'm keenly wondering is whether or not they're going to be able to port the UFO special stages, because the Genesis can technically do Moog 7 style visuals via
I think
software. Like
that's asking a lot.
that was accomplished by the homebrew back in like 2015. But but like I don't know how doable that is. I don't know how like doable like bringing over those specific special stages would be. But like if they can like manage that and the time travel, and I don't know, maybe somehow like compress a really ugly looking version of the FMVs in there. 3D Blast sort of did it. um, then like that'd be some very interesting technical feats that I'd be very looking forward to seeing, especially since one unfortunate thing about my about my Mega Drive Pro is that when you play it on the Nomad does not have any like audio connectors in its cartridge port, and so it cannot play any of the Sega CD audio. Oh, it's all silent. So like this would be a nice little compromise if I could play a Genesis port of Sonic CD on that thing.
Weirdly, well, here's my question. You could probably listen to the past era music though, because the past
Oh
era
yeah,
is chiptune music.
yeah. Like my Nomad's currently under repair right now, but when I was playing it briefly, like it would at least like do certain sounds like Sonic's jumping, and so at the very least, like that will be possible. I could like just play the whole game in the past, but beyond that, yeah, it's just silence.
Unfortunately, your Nomad might be out, but so are Chao. We're not getting
Yay!
Chao Gardens. There's no Chao
That makes me
Gardens.
sad, but
No.
you know what?
The only Chao Garden you're getting is in the Sonic 3 movie, apparently.
Yeah. Um, But like, yeah, so Izuka has confirmed that Chao will only come back in Sonic Adventure 3.
Chao
He has said in the
Gardens.
past,
Chao
Chao Gardens is
Gardens.
what I meant to say. He said in the past that Chao Gardens would only come back
There's
if he
even
made
Chao and Sonic X, Shadow.
if he made another Sonic Adventure. Um, and so now that he's reiterated this does confirm that Sonic 06, Sonic Unleashed, and
I'm
Sonic
sorry,
Heroes
that is
are
a Sonic
not
Adventure
Sonic
game.
Adventure 3.
No, they're Sonic
None of them
Adventure
are Sonic
games.
Adventure games because they do not have Chao Gardens.
Oh, no, they are Sonic Adventure games.
Nope, they are something else. They are not Sonic Adventure games because they do not have Chao Gardens. That's the word of Izuka, the word of God.
Yeah, but the man doesn't understand who Vegeta is. I'm not going to take his word for on this.
But I'm hoping I remember back in 2016 on this 2015 on this very show, I predicted that we were going to be getting Sonic Adventure 3 because Sonic Team's been all about nostalgia. So it's time for some Dreamcast era nostalgia, and then I was completely and utterly wrong. But I think maybe now with all the Dreamcast stuff recently, maybe Sonic Adventure 3 is gonna finally be in the pipeline, and we'll get new Chao Gardens, and everyone will be happy except for GX.
Who's going to be happy? The problem is, who is going to be happy? Because I can tell you, if they release a Sonic Adventure 3, nobody's going to be happy. It's not going to be what anybody wants because you've dealt with the Sonic fan community and you know how they are.
The hardcore Sonic Adventure fans who want just Sonic Adventure but with better visuals will not be happy because Sonic Team will hopefully make something better than that. Or something worse that at least had better intentions, but regardless. So, yeah, that's true, but I will be happy, and that's all that actually matters.
I will be bored because Chao are boring. Chao gameplay is very boring.
You're very boring, Chris.
I'm not the one playing Chao. I'm not sitting there as the little children bumble about and random number generator into playing a horn. And then walk over.
You take them to school so that they can learn things. You give them animals and you race them. and then, if you want to align them with the different side of characters, you'll also throw them or something.
I've played better versions of this style of gameplay that give you more nuance over what you can do.
Well, hopefully that's what Sonic Adventure 3 will do when that inevitably finally comes out.
Never. It will never. There will never be a Sonic Adventure 3. I think they would be fools to do it. But also they don't need me to convince. I think they'll be fools for many reasons, and I don't think that I don't think this will break my belief system. Anyhow, let's get into the weird merch. There's a lot of weird merch. Let's talk about weird merch.
So we had a Tails tube come out.
We had a commercial, yes.
Yes. That was basically hawking the Amy's tarot cards, which I just kind of like to think of it as Tails I don't know, helping Amy with her latest money-making scheme.
They got right down to oh yes, it includes a guidebook that Amy wrote. It's what do we? We're not really even hiding any part of this. That this is just the commercial for the thing. There's no plausible deniability.
What if the reason why this kept getting delayed was because they were waiting for the Tails tube to come out?
Sure, that's the reason why. This thing, I ordered this thing. I did the pre-order for this more than a year ago, June 2023, and it was originally supposed to be released last year as the pre-order denoted. Then they pushed it back for months and months and months. I would just get these weird Amazon updates saying yeah, we're moving it back a couple more days. We don't actually have a release date now, but we'll update you when we got. And eventually, hey, we finally got there. They finally got them in to ship them, and it's
Not even pre-order. I just ordered it yesterday. I just and it came today.
but
So
yeah.
yeah, it did come out, and how is it?
I mean, right now, all I've really done is I have flipped through, and I probably want to do a write up on this for the site, but the short of it is, it's not a tarot deck in one-to-one relation. I don't. I probably would not say that if you're looking to use this as a direct tarot deck analog where one card represents one specific thing in the same way that one thing would represent one thing elsewhere, then it's probably not going to be that. But that said, the art is very nice. They have a lot of variety in the in like their Sonic iconography in it. It's all original art. None of it is like out there reusing existing stock art to make these designs.
That's nice.
I really enjoy that part of it. It reflects quite a wide swath of the series, representing like different characters and different aspects of of the mythology of the series. Like, hey, do you want a card pack that do you want art that recognizes small animals and wisps and Chao and badniks? It's like, yeah, it has all these things. Some of them directly reference specific characters, though they're usually kind of silhouetted or sort of like obscured in some way. Some less so. There are it has the major arcana, which are a little bit more defined. These are the tarot cards that you would normally recognize, like the Fool or Death or stuff like that. But then it also includes the minor arcana, or the minor arcana as well, which are like numbered across different suites. In this case, I believe the four
Right.
elements that they've had represented here are fire, lightning, water, and rings. Because rings is an element, I guess. I don't remember that. I don't remember that book of the Last Airbender, but apparently rings.
That was one of Cora's books.
Ah, right. Over in the spirit world. But yeah, it looks nice. It's kind of one of
The
those
art's
things where,
cool.
like, if you want a collectible that could theoretically be functional in the loosest sense of the word, that you could use to do something with. I kind of appreciate it from that perspective. What's your take on it so far, Shigs?
Actually, fairly enjoyed it. I'd have to still read through the whole instruction manual. I mean, it has a really thick one too, 128 pages. It explains each and every card and well, its meaning and everything. But like you were saying, this is for a Sonic fan. This is a fun little collectible to have, regardless of of its functionality. I think it's just an enjoyable little collectible.
Look, it's hard for us to get Sonic art outside of the comics that isn't original, or that is original most of the time. Hey,
Right.
do you want to get the Sonic Uno game? Do you want to get the Sonic Speed Battle game? Well, you can bet that all the art in it is gonna be standardized stock art. That there's not going to be an original piece of art
I
in the
do find
thing.
it kind of weird that they put so much effort into this, because like, who are tarot cards a thing many people buy?
Oh yeah,
Huh.
tarot cards are a big collectible thing.
I had no idea. Of course, I don't believe in that pseudoscience nonsense to begin with. Same as like the astrology crap.
Well,
But
that's kind of the funny thing I had to laugh at in the Tales tube, because there's quite a lot of it going on in there that really suggests that Amy
Hey, this
is
is just for fun, you know.
No, I wasn't going to say that. I was going to say there's a lot of like cold reading vibes going on in that in the script of that, where Amy's attempting to explain in the way that you would if you were performing a cold read. Is like, well, this card represents this. Can you think of any circumstance where that might represent this thing? And it's like, oh well.
so Amy's a scam artist, is what you're saying.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, any tarot card reader is going to be some degree of scam, but
Wonder how
scam or
much she
like
charged Eggman for that.
some people do. Some people legitimately do, but I'm not going to sit here and charge you for having your Sonic fortune read. I'm not going to be the person. But yeah, it's cute, it's neat, it has very nice original art. Art's from Evan Stanley, and
I've been tempted to get it only because it looks cool, but then I had to ask myself, what am I going to do with it? And I realized nothing.
Part of your Sonic collection.
Like in the very least with that Dreamcast statue, I can display it and look at it. What am I going to do with cards?
you look, you thumb through them and look at them, and they take up a lot less space.
I mean, I guess they're at least a lot cheaper.
Oh, for sure. It's like 10% of the cost of the other thing. So
$25. That's still a
Yeah.
lot for cards.
it's
For-
you
Well,
would
they're
be
pretty
Signs.
big cards.
you would be surprised how much cards cost. These are nice printed cards. Like this is
Yeah.
this is not a low quality product. There's effort put into this. They have a nice feel to it. There's a lot of creativity in choosing how to assemble the art for it. I'll show you what they look like sometime. Maybe I'll
All
find
right.
a reason to do a stream with this stuff.
Ooh, do like you could do my reading or something.
Maybe. Maybe that's been going through my head for the last 5 minutes. Is like, oh, I could make content where I do something stupid like that.
But like get me Shigs and Reef on there and and Saber and like do readings for us if that's the thing you can do with more than one person. I don't know how this stuff works because like I said, it's nonsense.
But yeah, what else is nonsense? Is I don't know. You want to get Sonic on a thermos or a cooler?
Yeah, I'm very tempted by these because they are cheap and I like the look of them. Like
Cool vibe to them. I like them. They got an 80s type vibe.
Yeah, it's Igloo brand is getting thermoses and drink holders and I don't know, coolers. I'm not so hot on them, but I don't need a thermos or a cooler. And I definitely don't need a novelty one.
I genuinely could use a cooler, and this cooler is like not expensive. I was expecting to open it up and be like, oh, it's $40. Yeah, no, but it's like I think it's like oh wait, no, it is $40. But apparently it's like that's a normal price for a 7-quart cooler. So I don't know.
I mean, hey, do you need a cooler that they slapped a sticker onto? I don't think I do, but I can at least acknowledge that hey, there's some degree of effort put into this art, more than most
Yeah.
Sonic merch, so I can at least respect that. I just don't need it. Don't see it.
Well,
Don't see a
yeah.
lot of
If you
value
don't
in
need a
it.
cooler, then you don't need a Sonic cooler.
Probably not. I need something that I could bring with me to work trips, and I don't need to have Sonic on that.
But I enjoy the pastel colors. I enjoy the Sonic art. I enjoy the, I guess the kind of '80s neon look of the background. I guess it all looks neat to me.
Do you
So,
like Halloween costumes?
no, I don't.
Do you like Fall Guys?
Not really.
Then I have a product for you. There's going to be a Fall Guys Spirit Halloween, a Fall Guys Sonic the Hedgehog costume at Spirit Halloween.
And it's
Available
only for
now.
kids, which makes me sad because it's an inflatable costume. And one thing I'm wondering about is what happens if you push someone in this costume into like a pool?
They will
Like, will they
probably
float?
drown. They will
Like, so
probably
you know,
drown, is what will happen. You will
I
be
don't
the
want
one who
I
has
don't want to try
murdered a
that with a
child.
kid. Exactly. That's why I said it's unfortunate that they only have this for children.
So you want to kill an adult, is what
So you
I'm
want to
hearing.
murder Hilt with it instead.
I could probably talk an adult into trying it.
What if you're in the costume and we push you in?
You know what? I'll do it for science.
After, of course, I make you sign a waiver that relieves me of all liability.
Like, but I see this thing looks like an inflatable costume. You just float on the surface, right?
Yeah, that's how flotation works. Certainly
Yeah.
with a person inside, it certainly won't burn out the fan that's in the costume and start filling with water.
So it's like it's a fan costume. I thought you like filled it up with air,
No, it's
like a balloon.
no, inflatable costumes are just fabric and they have an air fan that sort of keeps airflow flowing in. Like
Ah.
my dude, if you fill it up with air, how do you breathe if it's perfectly
I don't
sealed?
know. I assume there's like some kind of air hole or something.
Y-
I don't know how this thing works. Like I said, I don't care about costumes.
it's very stupid. Also, for some reason, it's the only licensed Fall Guys thing that this line has. Like, well, I should say cross-licensed. Like, there's a bunch of other Fall Guys costumes available in this line, but this is the only one where it is Fall Guys, but also another franchise. Like, if you want the
I
Fall
do
Guys hot
kind of.
dog, you can get the Fall Guys hot dog. But this is the only one where it's like, this is another character in the style of Fall Guys.
I do kind of wonder if this is just evidence of how much Sega is willing to whore out Sonic to brands. Like, where it's like the only licensed Fall Guy costume that they've got.
I mean, number one, yes. I felt that way for a long time. But number two, my other suspicions are I couldn't really figure out what company is making this, but I bet it's a company that has both licenses.
Hmm.
And that the Sonic one is permissive enough that it lets them do this.
Yeah. But at the very least, I do think the costume looks neat, and I imagine the fan
Does
is
it
one reason why it looks only for kids.
does it look
You
neat?
probably can't do that for an adult, can you?
I'm just looking at this and thinking nobody's going to know what this is. Like if I was a kid, I'd look at this and think, "Oh, is it an Among Us? Is this a Sonic Among Us?" I'm sure some kids know what Fall Guys is, especially now that it's in Fortnite. But quite honestly,
Wait, Fall Guys is in Fortnite now?
Epic owns the company that made Fall Guys. In fact,
Huh.
they laid off a lot of the staff whenever they
Oh.
realized they weren't doing so hot,
Well, that sucks.
business wise. You have to feed the capitalism, beast. Feed the capitalism and feed the super game.
Well, regardless, it's just weird thinking of those clumsy Fall Guys characters shooting guns.
No, it's there's different weird stuff in Fortnite now. Like Fortnite has just become this mishmash of many games, and they're also trying to do the Roblox thing where if you just want to have a world of that crap, you can do it. Like if
Yeah.
you
Oh,
want to
speaking
design
of,
your own world. Yeah.
I was gonna see. Speaking of, about 3 or 4 weeks ago, they did have a Fall Guys little update happen to Fortnite for a week, where you can go to this one statue and it'll transport you into the actual Fortnite game. It's still on the same, I mean, sorry, Fall Guys. It'll
Yeah.
transform. It'll transport you to the Fall Guys game,
Like I said, Fall
but
Guys
it's
is in
still on.
Fortnite.
It's still Yeah, it's crazy is it's still on the Fortnite engine. As somebody who's played a lot of Fall Guys, it actually played better on Fortnite than in the original Fall Guys.
Well,
Oh man.
I mean, look, Fall Guys is supposed to feel weird. Like that's the whole
Well, no,
point.
this
Is
it has the same control and feel, but surprisingly, it's got like a slightly better edge to it. I can't explain it.
look, if you're making Fall Guys more playable, then you screwed up. It's not
Well,
supposed to be
whatever.
playable.
I'm glad that's what Sega did with Sonic Rumble.
I don't know. Knuckles, talk to me about ducks.
Well, there's a ducks. There's a Tubbs duck Sonic duck stuffed animal thing now
Why?
that got
With
revealed
that
on the.
because you know what? Okay, a rubber duck makes at least some sense for kids to put into the bath and everything. Why would you get a rubber duck plush of Sonic or
GX.
Eggman? It's just
Sorry, Shigs.
that's just
You know
insanity to me.
what weird plush did they announce at San Diego Comic-Con?
The ice cream?
The ice cream
plush.
That's not a
Yes.
plush. That's a pillow.
Okay, but
It's a plush,
regardless,
Dan. No, we're not going to draw this distinction.
Pillow/plush out of anything these days.
No, the reason why you get this is because you are deep in, the stupid ducks are your version of the Funko Pop, and you want to continue the lineup of supporting the continuation of a brand. Like that.
Anyway,
that's why you do it.
To answer your question, GX, the reason why I say this as a capitalist is that capitalism is a virus, and it will keep spreading and keep eating until everything has been capitalized into
Line
money.
go up.
Yes. And if the line goes up, means taking this one piece of merch and turning it into a different piece of merch. They're gonna turn it into a different piece of merch.
When are we going to? Okay.
There must be a Funko Pop plush thing, right? There's gotta be.
Oh, there almost certainly is. I would be shocked if Funko. Well, Funko. The thing is,
Funko Pop T-shirts.
Funko.
I have not yet seen a Funko Pop. Plush.
Funko has other lines of products, some of which are plush that are not of the Pop line. But you are probably right. There is probably a Funko Pop plush as well. The bigger question is, when are we going to get Duck, Sonic, Fall Guys in Fortnite?
There are in
Funko
fact
Pop.
Funko Pop plushies, and they are about as ugly as you think they'd be.
Which is to say, they look like every other Funko product, every Funko Pop product.
Except they're plush. Weren't there also Funko Pop costumes?
God, I hope not. There was that pitch deck at one of the presentations where it had the nightmarish, like the Joker one, and I think Sonic was one of them. Oh,
there's a disguise Pop Funko Pop mask. Yeah. Okay. So there's masks that you can get.
Look, man, I'm not going to support you spending
those.
$250
on a Sonic statue as long as you don't own the Sonic Funko Pop mask.
No, I don't think I can make that promise.
Which one?
Hey, the Jack Skellington one glows in the dark.
Okay, is that good? Do you want it to glow in the dark?
I don't know. It just does.
Hey, Sonic 3 merch. Everyone owns it now. Hey, everyone's been buying Sonic 3 before they formally revealed any sort of Sonic 3 trailer.
It is insane that we covered this back in July, but the news first came out in I think June or something. But this stuff has been getting leaked, and now before the trailer even came out, both Shigs and I bought Sonic 3 merchandise. I got myself a Shadow plush, and Shigs got himself some action figures, I think, right, Shigs?
Yeah, Sonic and Shadow minifigures.
But and on top of all that, a couple weeks ago, which is the news item, is that Target has leaked talking Sonic 3 figures. So you can even like hear lines from these characters. Well, so like, well, okay, they leaked the existence, not the actual toy, so you can't hear the lines yet. But regardless, it is insane that we got all this merch coming announced before the trailer was even released.
It's just like I said, they made a big to do about it, and I get why, given the elaborateness of how they wanted to reveal this trailer. I guess I kind
Yeah.
of get why they held back as long as they did, because you would have to file you would probably have to file things with many, many cities in order to display a lighted billboard in that way.
Oh yeah, that does make
That's true.
sense.
But
Um,
they probably should have done something, for the
a
love of God,
teaser?
something like like my idea is basically, hey, you get Keanu, you sit him down in front of a camera, and you just create like a real quick YouTube video of him standing next to official art of Shadow in the movie, and you say, "Hey, I'm Keanu Reeves. I'm real
Well,
excited to be in this movie and
here's
playing Shadow."
here's
And
what
then,
they could have done. Like, as you know, they showed that trailer at CinemaCon, and uh, what's his face? Uh, man, the artist guy,
yeah,
Tyson has recently said that the reason why that wasn't released was because it wasn't meant for public consumption.
sure,
But
yeah,
as I see it,
yeah,
what they should have done was they should have just released a teaser, like a 30-second or 1 minute long teaser that had featured the other characters and then but has Shadow pop up and he doesn't talk. And like that's just it. And you show that in like July.
sure,
And
sure, yeah.
then when all the merch is coming out, it's less of a big deal that all this stuff is getting leaked before you started marketing your goddamn movie. Then
Yeah.
you can still do all this stuff for the big trailer.
Yeah, I don't care that they waited that long. It's just that business-wise, this was poorly managed. Like, they had poorly
Yeah.
managed partnerships with other with other companies that they probably could have, sanded the edge off, instead of Jack Specific going on Twitter and yelling at people for sharing things that they purchase in stores because they couldn't control their supply chain.
Yeah, yeah. Or like hell, just like just like sharing listings. Like listings for their toys get leaked early all of the time. This should not have been a surprise to them.
So, real quick, hey, Paramount shut down Paramount TV. Uh we kind of reported as it might have associations with the Knuckles series. Obviously, like, hey, the real answer is we don't know. The real answer is maybe it does. We know Paramount Films was a big part of the production of that TV series, of that streaming series, but also Paramount TV was a subsidiary of Paramount Films.
And does handle all of their and did handle all of their streaming TV shows that weren't being done by CBS Studios.
There's some connective association. We just can't point to what specific connective association it had. So, err on the side of, it's news. It's unfortunate, but it's also understandable. Because Paramount needs money.
Mm.
Paramount needs
But
money.
yeah, they're trying to like cut I think $500 million
They're trying to get bought,
ahead
is
of their
what they're
merger.
trying to do.
Well, no, they've already been bought.
No, they haven't.
The
They've decided to extend this thing so that they can kind of pursue another potential buyer or something.
last I heard, they took the deal like weeks ago.
I think it was delayed, but like, no, they're not. It's not. I don't think it's finalized yet. Like, these things take forever to
Huh.
get through, but
Well, not finalized, but like as far as I know, both parties have like settled on
I heard that
on the
too.
buyout stuff.
And then later I heard, it's like, well, we're gonna put this out a little bit farther because apparently we have another potentially interested party associated here. I don't know. It's Paramount's weird. I don't get how they survive as a business these days. I don't. Have you
Yeah, how
got?
streaming survives really, because without the advertisement dollars, subscription does not pull in as much nearly as
Ah,
much money as
So
okay. One,
advertising ever
I,
did.
s- I see what you're talking about. Path clears for Paramount merger with Skydance after Bronfman drops bid. So expand.
okay,
So it's happening again.
okay,
My
good, cool.
God.
I don't know. I'm just looking at like I don't know. You guys are Transformers adjacent. Did you see the trailer for one?
Yes, it
Yeah,
looks like a very typical trailer for a kids movie. I'm hoping that the
yeah,
actual
it just
movie
does
is
not look very
better.
good.
Yeah, I was wondering if it did anything for you because it. Here's the thing. It looked like
I'm look.
it had the
I will say
tone of one of their more recent Ninja Turtles projects, and it's like that doesn't work with Transformers.
no, it does not. I'm looking way more forward to the Wild Robot than I am to Transformers One.
Oh, sure, yeah, but that's let me be clear here. That's Paramount acting as distributor for a much better filmmaker, which feels weird for me to talk about DreamWorks in that way, but 2024 has changed things, so I don't know.
Look, I will say this. I'm pretty sure I've said this on here before. Like, one thing I have learned for over the decades of watching trailers for kids' movies is that really great kids' movies can have really bad trailers because those trailers are trying to be marketed towards the little kids exclusively. And so they will focus on the stuff that appeals to them exclusively and ignore all of the stuff surrounding that. Like, we got that with several Pixar movies back when they were just putting out banger after banger. And
What I
like,
have learned over the years is
yeah.
that Paramount makes a lot of movies that are in this style. This is that I looked at that and thought this is not very different than what they're doing with the Sonic movie series.
Hmm. In
Speaking of
any
which, there was a
case,
Well,
trailer.
all right, so
there
we're up to
was.
the final piece of big news. Well, I really enjoyed the trailer. Of course, it was really nice finally seeing all this stuff. It was really nice just finally seeing like Shadow the Hedgehog getting realized on the big screen. Like Shadow looks cool. Like as
He looks.
I
He
know
look. He
that
does look great on this.
like as a longtime fan of that character, like it is wild seeing him being
Tell me
rendered to this
about the
level of
things that
fidelity.
you like most about Shadow with within the context of the lengthy discussion that we had earlier in the show.
His design and his characterization in Sonic Adventure 2.
I don't accept that, but continue.
um, but anyway, note how I started complaining about Shadow like with Sonic Heroes. um, but like the special effects look great. The characters look better than ever. Um, like I'm still not liking how Jim Carrey is looking in this, but X par for the course. Like, look, if Jim Carrey couldn't ruin Sonic 2 for me, then he's not going to ruin this one for me. Even though there's now two of them, because Gerald Robotnik is alive in this iteration of the story, which in hindsight isn't that surprising because
Well,
like
wouldn't he been dead? It's been like 50 years, and I think he was old during the time Maria and Shadow was
well,
around.
here's the thing.
So I'm
Like,
wondering if there's like
for
time
one,
travel
in
involved or
You're
something.
assuming that matters in this
here's
series.
here's the thing. For one, Shadow was in suspended animation for like I don't know,
We
50
don't
years.
know in this
So
movie. We don't know how long he was in there in this movie.
they said he was. They said they gave us the 50-year time frame in Sonic 2, so we know that much.
Okay.
Regardless, Gerald Robotnik is Robotnik's dad in this, not his grandfather.
No, he's his grandpa.
So,
Papa is a
oh,
slang for grandpa.
huh, okay.
It's a
Then in that case,
Papa is a slang for grandpa
all
for like
right.
little
Well, I
kids.
guess Gerald Robotnik is just going to be like, I don't know, 80 years old or something.
No,
and
he's
he
going to
was,
be a Jim
uh,
Carrey character, which means any sort of logic does not apply
yeah.
to him.
Like, from what we briefly saw of Gerald Robotnik, he is exactly what I would expect a Jim Carrey played by, sorry, Gerald Robotnik played by Jim Carrey would
Man,
be.
could you imagine a film where Jim Carrey plays multiple roles on screen at the same time?
Okay, I
Can you
have
can
not
you
seen that many Jim Carrey movies, so what are you referencing?
I think I'm referencing his pretty awful version of A Christmas Carol, in which I think
Oh
he
yeah, I
did
remember
almost the
that.
entire cast.
Really?
I believe
I
so.
thought that movie was bad for other reasons. Damn, I've never heard of this.
I'm going to fact check this. Jim
But
Carrey
that was the
Christmas
animated movie,
Carol.
right?
The CG one, yes.
Yeah.
Christmas Carol 2009 stars Jim Carrey, Gary Oldman, Colin Firth.
It's an uncanny valley.
Let's see what Wikipedia says here. Oh, it's a Disney film.
Yeah.
it is.
Why did
that-
Disney do that? Were they that hard up in 2009?
Well, technically, I think it was. It's
It's the
funny.
same
It's not
company that puts out a whole ton
It was
of
not made by Disney, but I
live
think it was
action remakes.
distributed.
Jim Carrey is Scrooge, the Ghost of Christmas, and all three Christmas ghosts. He is not Bob Cratchit or Bob Marley or Jacob Marley. Bob Marley.
All right.
I don't know. This is I don't know. It's weird. That was a weird movie. This is a weird choice, but also I wouldn't be surprised if Carrey really wanted to do this. It wouldn't surprise me if, based on what he wants to do with his characters, is like, yeah, I could play both. Especially if he gets to wear a lot of dumb makeup.
But regardless, in the trailer, we got to see Jim Carrey finally got his fat suit for Eggman. Although I'm guessing there's gonna be some
not
sort of
really.
workout montage, because by the time we see him in the costume, like he's back to how he normally looks, but with a messier mustache or something. So we're not really getting Fat Eggman, which I'm not that surprised by, if I'm being honest. But all the stuff with Sonic, Knuckles, and Shadow, like I thought that looked neat. And Tails as well, obviously. And it sounds like yeah, this is not going to have that much to do with the plot line, like in a lot of ways.
Look,
like,
the
Shadows.
The smart play here was probably is not like inherently set the premise as have Shadow and Dr. Robotnik team up, because there was probably a point in this script where they did not know if they would have a Dr. Robotnik actor. And having Shadow be the predominant antagonist probably made a lot of sense in that context.
It's what I was advocating for. It's like, you don't need Jim Carrey. Just give us Agent Stone and Shadow.
Sure.
But like, yeah. So like, as near as I can tell, there's no space colony arc.
Well,
although there does appear to be some.
it does look like there
facility.
is.
Yeah.
The giant mech crab is a different thing from that giant UFO that thing that came out of the ground.
The giant UFO is
in England.
probably going to be the space colony arc stand-in.
Yeah, that's what I believe.
Either that, or we've had storyboards way back when that have thus far proven pretty accurate.
Suggest that there would be something in space, right?
There is likely going to be, if those are still applicable, which they might not be. But yeah, there's probably going to be something. It might not be the space colony, because although I was going to say, no, the original Sonic Adventure 2, Shadow is stored on Earth, right?
Yes,
like he's not in the space colony.
He is in a gun facility on Prison Island.
Right.
In cold storage, and that's basically the case in the movie as well. We got an island. He's in like a suspended animation, and then he breaks out, and we can see him like skating across the ocean, which is such a cool visual. um, but it does still sound like he is still driven by revenge for Maria. It doesn't sound like there's any kind, and hopefully there's no kind of weird memory manipulation things. It's just like tragic, something bad happened to Shadow, and like that's why he's doing whatever he's doing. Like it is like specifically opened with the Olive Garden guy who, I guess who was also gun commander. Telling Sonic, whereas you found family, he only found pain and loss, which decent line for a pretty goofy.
I don't think it should make it into the main. I don't think it should make it into the final film. That seems that in more adept hands, that would be something that you would imply. But also, I don't know. It's a kids' movie. Maybe I
don't know. Maria is going to die in this. We know this now because we see Shadow with her. We see Shadow and Gerald with her body, like surrounded by what appears to have been like a big explosion. So I'm guessing that instead of her getting gunned down by a gun soldier, she's going to like get exploded. Probably by the gun soldiers.
I don't know. Or hey. Gun might not even be involved. Like,
well, in that same scene, they are pointing guns at them, so gun seems to be involved in some capacity. So we are going to be getting the whole story with Maria, and that is a place where there could potentially be some much-needed emotional weight given to the story, which I think is going to be important here. Well, although I am, of course, concerned regarding like the tonal whiplash.
Yeah, these kind of movies, it's hard to find emotional weight.
No, it's actually very easy to find.
Why I enjoy them.
No, it's actually very easy to find the emotional center of it. However, these are the Sonic films.
But regardless, like, I don't know, like, it looks neat. I'm sure there's going to be some horrible, lengthy subplot with Jim Carrey and Gerald Robotnik, which is going to take up 20 to 30 minutes of the movie so that they can, give the budget a break, because that's what they did in Sonic 2, and this is apparently going to be basically the same length. So, like, I don't know, at this point, everything else looks pretty neat. Like, we even like have this cool little scene that seems to take place in a restaurant full of people in Chao costumes, which that is a very cool little Sonic reference that they would not have done in a previous movie.
I was looking for the trailer to do one thing, and it was to not have its sense of humor annoy me. And it did not succeed.
Jim Carrey talked.
No, it wasn't even just the Jim Carrey stuff. Like, personally, Idris Elba's Knuckles in Sonic 2 was pretty decent. I don't think this take on Knuckles is as good. I don't find his writing as entertaining, at least in the trailer. It might just be because he's not the focus of the movie.
And that was like one line, to be fair.
Yeah, but there was nothing in there to really impress me. Like, look, I don't like the first movie that much. I don't really care for the second movie either. There's nothing in here for me. Like,
you just need to find it in your heart to realize that Shadow is cool.
No. I don't need to find it in my heart that there's a lie. Like, if Shadow was cool, he would not, as Dredd mentions in chat, say to himself, in Sonic Adventure 2, I'm the coolest. Someone who's cool.
What makes him cool. The fact that he acknowledges that.
No, that's the equivalent of Milhouse saying, well, my mom says I'm cool.
Mom thinks I'm cool.
Like, it is the lame kind of cool.
No, that's not
that you have to appreciate.
Is that the kind of cool that you feel that you are, Knuckles? The lame kind of cool.
Yes, I am the lame kind of cool.
I am sure that people who feel a lame kind of cool definitely believe that they are just the lame kind of cool and not
Shadow's
the
at his
deeply
best when
uncool
he
kind
gets
of
to
cool.
be like a moody emo teenager
Ugh,
who was loaded with self confidence or something.
I don't know. It's look, I'm not. This basically, I gave it. I gave the trailer a chance. I'm not watching a third one of these. The only time I liked
Aw.
what this franchise was doing is whenever it stopped doing the thing it was doing and decided to go on some nonsensical side trip into Wade's family history. And
Well, I'm
nobody
still
else seemed
hoping
to
that
like that, but I
I'm
in
still hoping that you'll ride this one out for the podcast one more time.
oh hell no. Are you kidding me? Why would I?
Because
We
you
have a
know,
podcast
we're
to do.
Sonic Talk.
Yeah,
In
yeah,
this case, it might just be me and Alex talking about the film.
yeah. Have fun with that. Yeah, if you're looking to me and thinking, well, I can rely on GX doing something that he has expressly said that he does not want to do. Yeah, I got bad news for you. Like you can't pressure me into doing Jack K whatever.
I believe in you, GX.
Yeah, you sure do because you're the uncool kind of cool. Uh,
Well, I
In
will
any
say,
case, Shigs.
yeah, I I was more wowed by the announcement of the Capcom Fighting Collection Volume 2 than I was at this movie. But
oh, but that Capcom
trailer,
Collection Fight Volume 2, that's sick, isn't it?
I mean, in fairness, that's something that people
it's
that
great.
people have been
That's
wanting for
Power
a
Stone, Power
decade.
Stone 2, and Project Justice, along with
Oh,
some
it
other
has all their
solid
weird
ones. I mean,
fighters. It looks so good. And then there was the Castlevania DS collection. Those are some of the best Castlevania games. Oh,
All
oh,
right, but
not really.
Shigs, the
But
trailer.
DS
anyway,
games, yeah.
I will say, my brother was mentioning because he is not the biggest Sonic fan, and he thought the other two were just okay. He's actually pretty hyped for this one. He did like what he saw in the trailer, and I enjoyed what I'm seeing. The thing is for me is after Knuckles and Sonic 1 and 2, it's just, well, that's a trailer. I don't know what I was expecting. You know. I mean, hey, it looks good. It looks solid, but for me anyway. But there's nothing that's wowing me enough that it says I gotta go see this day one.
Like I think it's about back what we were all expecting.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing here that's that exactly. That's exactly it.
Well,
There's
they
nothing
they
here
don't
that I wasn't expecting.
they intro like, and I'm not gonna
Except
hold.
the only thing I wasn't expecting is that we finally got to see, Fat Eggman. It's just him in a loose shirt for 2 seconds instead of him being fully realized as, heavy set Eggman from the video games, and it's back to regular Jim Carrey from the second movie as far as Eggman goes.
Yeah, I'm not gonna hold them to this, but I will at least highlight it because like there's only so much I can hold them to for the first introductory trailer. But we don't really have a good sense of like, okay, what are the stakes here? What is the story? How are they? No, we got the setup of there's gonna be a fight between Sonic and Shadow, or Sonic's team and Shadow, and there's going to be
And they're going to team up with
they're
Robotnik
going to
at
team
some
up with
point.
Robotnik, and there's going to be some visual gags with that. And obviously, hey, you probably wouldn't announce all of the premise of it with a first trailer and lay out what the story is. I personally would have liked to see more of story. I don't think it's going to change my mind, but hey, if it's better to know where they're actually going with it. But also, like I said, I'm not holding them to that because it is the first trailer.
Hmm. Yeah, and I'm sure we're going to be getting more in the coming months. Like these movies always get multiple trailers.
Where do you think they go with it afterwards?
I don't know. Like, either they could significantly expand the universe, with like more characters and stuff and places that
It's
aren't
really
Earth.
time for Amy to finally be in these. I mean, she's always been
Yeah,
part of the main four for the last 10 years. So, when it comes to Sonic and his friends, it's always the first four are Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, and Amy.
I made my pitch on how you introduce Amy in follow-up film before.
yeah.
And you
I
do it
think
at
if any of the characters, they always have a new character at the end credits. If it's going to be anyone, it's going to be Amy this time, I believe.
My personal
uh
hope is like I don't know, maybe do one spin-off movie with Shadow if they really need to, but like aside from that, like do a cartoon. Do like an animated uh CG cartoon just based in the universe that
look,
isn't going to be constrained by a live action series budget.
honestly, I fully agree with that. You don't I would
That's
say
what they did with the latest Ninja Turtles.
yeah, yeah, just make an animated series, bring it to streaming. You don't have to make it too expensive in the way that the Knuckles series probably was a bit. Well, they cut a lot of corners with the Knuckles series, so maybe I'm talking out
I
my
mean,
butt.
they at least had the cost of a
Yeah.
whole movie spread across 6 episodes.
They had the cost of a movie spread across 2.5 episodes, and then they
Four
filled it with.
episodes.
I'm not going to say that the musical scene was expensive to make because it was definitely
It was
not as
very
expensive.
specifically low budget.
Yes. But like what? You had the fight scene, you had fight scene. You had the first episode, you had the last episode, and you had the Shabbat dinner, and that's it. That's where your budget went.
Well, Knuckles was also heavily featured
Pretty
in the
much.
second episode.
But he wasn't featured in the same way. Like he was barely he was cramped into a box. That's how he was featured.
True. But like, remember, a movie is like, I don't know, not 90 minutes to 2 hours, and so they were spreading that across like 3 hours. So I don't know. But
Yeah. I
regardless,
Here's my pitch. Here's my pitch
Yeah.
for the follow-up. So we've suddenly introduced all of these big crazy characters. So for the fourth movie, we need to kind of go in a different direction. We need to pare it down a little bit. So what we do is this next one is a space movie, and it turns out that Dr. Robotnik has captured a whole bunch of aliens and taken them to an outer space amusement park. And we introduce his latest invention, his biggest thing to rival Sonic, a robot version of him.
Oh wait, you're making a serious pitch. So Sonic Colors, but with Metal Sonic.
That
And
is the
Amy,
description
I
of Sonic Colors Ultimate.
But I assume Amy is there.
I don't think honestly, I think you could have Amy. My other pitch was like, hey, have a Sonic Heroes be in name only, have it be some sort of weird tournament of heroes that Sonic and friends participate in, where they have to face off against other interdimensional hero teams in some sort of competition, with Amy's team being part of it. Where Amy is initially introduced as a rival that they eventually basically become friends through the struggle of competition. It's also where, I don't know, maybe you reintroduce Shadow if he survives this movie.
Even if he doesn't, they can just bring him back like they did in Sonic Heroes.
Let's hope they do better than that. I don't give Paramount a lot of credit, but I'm gonna give them enough credit of, if they want to reintroduce Shadow, hopefully they will come up with a better way than the actual games did.
God, that's so disappointing. But like I said before, that's a good idea. I support that. Expand the universe and all that stuff.
Look,
More expensive.
what we're saying here is, I should be the one to write the Sonic movies. I think we can all agree that I have better ideas than they do.
And so yeah, that's fine. But also, what I want I specifically I want a Chaotix animated movie. Sorry, animated TV series. Sorry, not a movie.
Okay. Okay. Who is
Yeah.
going to give you this? Why are they going to give you is this going to be sellable?
Paramount is going to do it. They're going to do a CG Chaotix TV series.
And they're going to pay
No.
for this.
Yes, they are.
Why would they do that? Why would they flush money down the toilet in this way?
Because they need to make some more Sonic content. They need to make something for.
But they could do that.
They're already doing that. They did Knuckles, and the rumors are they're going to do a Shadow series after this movie.
Sonic's voice actor isn't that expensive. I've seen him in other things. He's not that hard to get. They could just do a Sonic project with the characters they want.
Right. Sonic Chaotix.
But why?
Because I want the Chaotix. This is the only way we're gonna get the Chaotix in the movie universe. And
no. The way we get the Chaotix in the movie universe is we have the great interdimensional heroes tournament.
Oh, yeah, obviously. Yeah, true. But then, but they're like gonna be, I don't know, like side characters that don't get much attention.
Yeah, just like in the series, they're side characters that nobody really cares about.
I tell you, the only remote way you're going to get it is there's some kind of interdimensional thing happens, or this giant beam of light that people from both Earth and Sonic's world can see, and the characters that like Blaze and the Chaotix, and then turn around and look at the light.
Wait! Hold on! Are you going to Batman v Superman a Chaotix appearance?
I am not even do. I'm going Flash. Chaotix appearance, like when there was near the end, and they had that fake Christopher Reeve.
Knuckles, it's not time yet. The time stream isn't ready.
They basically just turn around and like, oh, what's that? And then that's it. That's all you get. They don't even get any lines. It just turns around, shows the model.
Oh,
then you're done.
That would be the worst thing ever. That would be. I mean, it was the worst thing ever in its original movie.
It's the worst thing, but it's also the most believable. Just to say, hey, look, kids, here's the other characters. Just really quick. You'll never see them again.
They've all gone back to their own planet.
The Chaotix space detectives. Yes.
Note: Vector died on the way back to his home planet.
After they do a 10-episode,
they just open up those
series.
Large ring portals, peek through the rings, look at Earth, and go, nope. I go back.
Anyway,
no,
I think that.
Then Sonic mugs to the camera and goes, "That's a reference to future projects that eventually never happened because Paramount's not going to have. I don't know. This is gonna. I'm not going to be into this movie.
Spider-Man, I think.
But I am going to be interested in seeing like how it does financially, if only because of where Paramount is as a company right now. Because I kind of have right now I have pretty low expectations of how Transformers 1 is going to do. Like I
just am not looking forward to that. Plus, you know what? Rise of the Beast. I enjoyed Rise of the Beasts. And that did not do well.
Bumblebee only did okay, as I recall.
Bumblebee was good too, and it only did okay.
And my issue is I'm just questioning, like, is it going to it's obvious what audience they're aiming it for, but is it going to actually find that audience? Because I don't see a lot there.
It's going up against Mufasa, which is a prequel to a $1.6 billion movie.
What, Transformers or Sonic?
No. He's talking Transformers 1, not Sonic 3.
Oh, okay. I was talking Sonic 3 there.
Sonic 3. I don't.
Since we're going that direction, do you think Mufasa's going to take a chunk out of Sonic 3 if they're coming out the same weekend?
No, I think Sonic 3 will take a chunk out of Mufasa, but I don't know how much of a chunk. I think ultimately Mufasa will still be able to outmarket Sonic 3, but
If
I
if
also
I'm
think that
able to write a headline that implies that the Sonic movie topped the box office, I'm gonna be shocked. But I do expect it's gonna do well. Like I would I would like guess that like maybe 400 to 500 million dollars is within the realm of possibility for it. Although it does depend on whether or not it's getting released in China. But at the very least, when it comes to Japan, like I'm guessing that they're probably hoping that by centering a part of the movie in Tokyo and releasing it just like a week after the U.S. release, they're
well,
hoping to like get for it
this
to
is
do
the
better.
first post Frontiers film,
Yep,
so maybe that might change the math on it.
that'd be funny. The Sonic games in the West get helped by the movie, and the movie gets helped by the Sonic games in Japan.
I mean, the yeah, maybe. I don't know. I think it's about time for us to wrap up. We've
It
hit 3
is.
hours, so
Yep.
Yeah, I had it's 8 where I'm at, it's 8:39 and I have not had dinner yet, so
uh,
I really want to get
Well,
going.
thank you for not eating on the podcast.
so
All right.
hey, everything we do, we have done in this show. We have done under the banner of Sonic Stadium. Though, yes, our opinions are our own. They don't represent the site. But
Although we are like half the site, so
is half the
make of
site.
that what you will.
Yeah. But yeah, go check it out, sonicstadium.org. We are one of the internet's oldest Sonic fan communities, oldest and quite well established, where we cover Sonic news. We talk about comics. We talk about the I don't know, the various comings and goings of this movie. We have surprisingly not introduced by me. Dread has begun Wade Wednesdays, which I approve of. We have Wade Wednesdays now. Go on the site to figure out what that's about. We've got Twitter/X. We're just at Sonic Stadium. We've got a YouTube channel, which is also at Sonic Stadium. You might be watching on it right now. We've got a Twitch channel, also Sonic Stadium, one word. And yeah, we should get some interesting things up in the near future. It's going to be very busy in the next coming weeks. We've got Sage
Yeah,
to look
we've
forward
got
to.
Sage coming up.
We've got the September's got like the 3-hit punch where we're gonna have Sage, and then we're gonna have Sonic hacking contest, and then we're gonna have Sonic X Shadow the following month. So it's gonna be freaking nuts. It's
Oh wow, I didn't notice this. Sage runs from September 6th to the 13th. That's a week later than I thought it was. Damn.
it's a week later, but it's still pretty soon. We've got a week to prep on whatever we are doing for this. So
Yep.
we should see if did they get in contact with you? No, this is a
No,
conversation to have
they
online.
have not. I should probably see if there's anything that they can involve us with.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're
I
gonna
meant
have
to like months ago, but I have just been busy since like May.
Sage stuff regardless. It's just do we do it under the banner of Sage, or do we just do it because we do it? So
Well, we've always said because we do it because Sage is fun.
that it is. So
I guess hope that we all have time over the course of that week to get a couple of write-ups out and some videos.
indeed. Peace, everyone.
Yeah, see ya.
Have a good day or good evening or what have you.
That is you.